Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to TraderTV.live. It is Friday, March 27th. Once again, North American stock futures back to the downside this morning, putting an end to a three-day rally. We did have, a nice move back to the upside after making the low back on Monday. Futures moving back to the upside after the $2 trillion aid package passed in the Senate early, I should say, yesterday, late on Wednesday. Investors a little bit tentatively getting back into the market yesterday. A lot of money coming back in yesterday and the day before, but pulling back a little bit today. Friday's negative start also comes as confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the U.S. now surpassing both Italy and China. So the U.S. becoming the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak at this point, with more than 82,000 confirmed cases throughout the country. We're watching shares of athletic apparel maker Lululemon this morning moving higher after reporting earnings after market yesterday. Earnings weren't bad, but they did not, I should say, provide a 2020 forecast going forward, as many retailers have not to this point. On the data front this morning, we'll get University of Michigan sentiment numbers for January coming up at 10 a.m. Otherwise, though, the data a little bit light so far this morning. In an effort to be prepared with some social distancing on the show, we've separated Neil and Sean, so I am going to stay here at the desk throughout the show. Neil is in his normal spot, and Sean has moved over to where I am typically during the show. So there's a look at Neil at his desk, Valeria set to go as well, answering your questions in the chat, and Sean now at my typical desk. So let's get over to Neil, say good morning to him first.
Yeah, good morning, and obviously doing our little part here, a little bit of distancing as well. We'll give you the same experience as best we can with these markets that are a wild action, of course. We had 3 straight days of gains. Looks like we're coming off a little bit. Boris Johnson, unfortunately, coming down with coronavirus. And, Europe looks actually relatively weak, and I'm going to jump right into the numbers here. You can see we didn't have as big numbers at Day Trade the World here on the AMEX yesterday, actually topping out at 20,000 for the top trader. And this is top traders by market within the company, so just the best individual in each market there. New York, 47,000, someone pulled out. Germany, still 27,000, consistently over 20,000. Someone's been able to make almost every single day this week. You'll see London there at 18, NASDAQ 16, so 5 figures almost across the board in the major markets. So they're continuing the trend that we've seen for the last few weeks, which is tremendous profitability across the board. Brendan, my good friend, here's a quick question for you. Doing the entire show from the desk over there, what are your thoughts on how it's going to go today? Do we really think there's going to be any kind of a big change? Do you think we're going to be throwing to you a little bit more, a little bit less? What are your thoughts, man?
It'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. We're going to bring you the same exact content, the same quality of content throughout the show today. Worth mentioning right off the bat here, guys, we have Danielle Shea coming up at 11:20 from the Simpler Trader. So that should be an interesting conversation. She's the Director of Options Trading over at the Simpler Trader. Let's get over and say good morning to Sean this morning. Happy Friday, Sean.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, I'm at a new trading desk, so I think I won't be making as many trades today, but I'm just sorting things out here. And I have no idea when I'm going to be actually on camera. So if Rob could use Unity a little bit more, that would be fantastic. But yeah, it is what it is today. We're doing it a little bit different. Yeah, I know I'm on now there. Thanks, buddy. But yeah, it should be a fun one. Not super excited about this market drop, however, but we'll be here. Yeah, it's great to have Daniel Shea on, and we'll be reviewing a bunch of different trades as we go here. Lululemon obviously reporting. You see that big, huge rip that happened yesterday afternoon at the close. That was fantastic. Huge buy imbalances coming in, and you saw a lot of these stocks get elevated into the close. Apple to 256, Microsoft as well, 156. So a lot of things happening, and it should be an exciting day.
Let's get into some markets here. Let's go over to the APAC region first and have a look at how things fared overnight in Asia. It was a bit of a mixed session overall. Again, a little bit of uncertainty. Volume across the board worth mentioning here. Very, very low for a Friday session. Japan leading the way to the upside 3.8%. Australia, big move down once again. Oil prices are down once again, so that's the reason for that. Both Chinese markets in positive territory. You can see Korea at the bottom there. Also moving to the upside. Let's go over to Europe and see a negative look here. Big time negative numbers right across the board. England leading the way, 5.25% to the downside. As Neil mentioned there, yeah, Boris Johnson testing positive for the coronavirus. So 5.25% for England to the downside. Everything else following suit. Let's have a look at North American markets here and see how things are shaping up heading towards the open. About 25 minutes to go. Pretty negative right across the board. Brazil's open down there, 4.8% to the downside. Bitcoin trading lower this morning. Crude as well in negative territory. Looks like our gold contract is not connected at this point. We'll have a look at that. Let's jump into some individual names here and check out some stocks that are moving in the pre-market so far this morning. I want to start with Lululemon. We mentioned big move in the aftermarket yesterday. Move to the upside yesterday. They did report earnings that for the most part were better than expected. Per share earnings anyways beat quite handily. They reported per share earnings of $2.28. That beat by about 10 or 11 cents. Revenue came in a little bit on the light side. They did not, again, provide a forecast for 2020. That was a bit of a problem for them. So Lululemon, Neil, we'll go over to you first. Lululemon moving to the downside here this morning.
Yeah, a couple of things to sort of digest here. You know, bouncing off of 130, you've already had it come up a good 60% from the bottom. It crossed through that 200 mark. Turning around yesterday, you know, there was a bit of a resistance area on the way up. You want to go back to October, you'll see this up at about 210, but then you also see the 200 right here, both the number and the MA as well. Turning around yesterday, you see this downside, I guess a structural reason, and you had 3 days of gains in the overall market as well. So it does look like that's going to be a bit of a resistance point for Lulu here. Just look at around that 200 to 206 area. I really like 206. I don't think we have any shot of getting there. You do see the double top that got put in yesterday. I would probably be looking to fade this one if we're looking at a week day today. You have 3 days worth of gains. This one could be an interesting sell point through that 190 area, maybe using 194 as a bit of a stop there. Not sure exactly what your thoughts are on this one, Sean, and don't want to put you on the spot. Don't know when to throw it to you, but what do you got for Lulu?
Yeah, no, Lululemon should be a good one. Hey guys, hey, what's up? Yeah, should be a good one today. Obviously, we're looking here. These are some of the market imbalances. Lulu's not going to be on there, but LU today, like you mentioned there, Neil. I have to sort of look up every time. So if you start seeing me with my eyes like this, the screen is northbound here. Yeah, let me have a quick look. 192. I mean, like you mentioned, this 206, 203 area probably never really comes into play here. That's a big mover. Yesterday at the close, a nice little rip up. Mind you, if you take away that little imbalance at the end of the day there, you're basically going to be at 195. So down to 192. This 4%, in my opinion, seems a little bit overdone just because of that huge move that we did have at the end of the day. So despite that move, you're only really down to 192, down a couple bucks. You know, the quarter wasn't great. Obviously, Lululemon continues to be the outperformer in that space. We did see Nike take off the last couple of days, so possibly Lululemon goes here. But retail is such a tough spot, guys, right now. People obviously can't go shopping. I'm not sure of their online business. I'm sure it's a decent one, but with all those stores closed and all the money that they put into some of those Manhattan stores, I know we have some big ones here in Toronto as well, probably tough to pay rent and your employees and whatnot. So we'll watch Lululemon. I'm not a huge fan of retail space in this environment.
Let's shift over to GameStop, another one that reported earnings. It's kind of been in focus over the past couple of days anyways, but they reported aftermarket yesterday as well. $1.27 per share, excluding some items, did exceed expectations by about 79 cents per share. 2.19, I should say, billion in revenue, did come up a little bit on the light side. They also said there has been a positive effect from the coronavirus outbreak on online sales specifically. So GME to the upside today. Neil, we'll go over to you again. GME moving higher here in the pre-market.
Yeah, I mean, what are you saying? People are going to game more because they got to stay at home? it's a change of behavior that I think we're certainly going to be seeing here. Just quickly looking at the chart, you can obviously this even $5 area, nice little bottom in December, big time breakdown at that price as well. We're recovering basically just below this area right now. You also look at the 200, and that's going to be the same crossover effect. GameStop, I know we had one of you guys on here chatting a lot about it there, Greg, and able to short this one despite the fact that it was moving up all session, all morning long, and then making a nice little level here at that 470. So I'm kind of looking at that 470 to see if that's going to be a bit of a base. Watch to see if it fails at that 470 to 490 area. Then it's a downside trade for me.
You know the thing about this GameStop here, am I in the picture fine here? I don't know, I'm trying to move a little bit for you guys. Yeah, GME here, so I do have Lulu up here, but I did want to go to a daily for GameStop. Of course, it's on the New York Stock Exchange, so you got to put in NY here. If I can find my daily chart, here it comes. This is what I'm talking about. It's this kind of level right here, and it's 490. I know we just discussed that, but 490 coming into play. It's actually not down horribly from these highs. I mean, if you're talking about what's happened with the coronavirus here, it's actually been moving up. This, late February is sort of where we started, made down to $3, and now it's just been sort of inching its way up here. But I'm looking for maybe a little bit of a short squeeze. But again, I'm not sure how many people would have been short this name heading into this print. It just seems like GameStop, obviously, with more people buying games. I know they're playing it more online right now, but there must be something there if we're going to be up today 11%. So look for a 5-10 break on GameStop, guys.
Yeah, interesting move there. We'll see how that plays out. Once the market gets open and trading this morning, let's head over to Cannabis World. We've been talking about some of the cannabis names over the past couple of days showing a lot of relative strength. There's been different theories as to why, but ACB, a little bit of a pop in the pre-market this morning down in New York. You can obviously trade it in New York or here in Toronto. Take your pick. Up more than 25% in the pre-market for ACB shares in New York. They said they're going to donate more than 295 face masks to Health Canada and local health workers during the coronavirus outbreak. Something that, on a grander scheme may not, typically move a stock, but ACB up 25, 26% even, kind of consolidating above $1.10. Again, this is down in New York. Neil, I mean, a nice pop here for ACB. Might just be buy anything and everything at this point.
Well, I mean, Sean's been saying that, the entire cannabis space has been on the bump there. You're just going to see a continuation of that move. So far today, you get through that dollar mark, and, the daily chart's going to not do really justice here unless I zoom way out. But you can certainly see yesterday there was a hard top at a $1 even area where it got pulled back in about 15% or so going into the afternoon, and then we're gapping up above that. So look for that to be support. Certainly if you got lucky here at 104, 105 on that little dip, and you're trading at 8 o'clock, you're probably looking to run that one into the high of the day. I'll be looking to see if we can defend that one even.
ACB, yeah, I mean, we keep talking about that one, and it was, guys, only 60 cents last Wednesday. So today, ACB in New York, you can watch it in Toronto as well, same ticker symbol here, $1.12, $1.14 here. Yeah, up 25%. The donation of those masks seems really nice, but again, I may fade this one. Tilray's been on crazy fire recently, so if you're looking at that, this is what I'm talking about. Look, last Wednesday, 62 cents down here at the bottom, and then today you're going to wake up to basically 100% profit from that spot. But we are getting clear of this 117. You see this little gap here? This is 121 to the top, and then this gap down was 103. So it retraced back about 20-25% that day. Now we're filling this little gap right here. So not sure how that looks on the screen. Okay, looks pretty good. And we can today, I think, this is a 50-period moving average, as you guys can see up here on a daily chart. I'm targeting actually 150 today, so we'll see if this can come into play. I like the GameStop break better, for technical reasons, but ACB could fill this gap all the way to 150 today. Why not?
All right, guys, let's go over to the airline stocks here. A couple in focus a little bit today. We were mentioning them moving to the downside yesterday. United Airlines and Southwest kind of led the charge back to the upside in the aftermarket yesterday after rumors came out that there is going to be some funding. No specifics as of how much yet, but there is going to be some funding from that $2 trillion aid package specifically set aside for some of the airlines. So if we head over to the chart of, I just brought up UAL and Love here as well. Southwest, UAL back in negative territory. It was positive briefly, guys. What do we think of these today?
It's sort of worth knowing that if you looked in the provisions of the deal, there is the opportunity for the government to take back, equity stake and in terms of collateral for any funds that do go to them in terms of those grants. So, and I think Mnuchin actually specifically said that it would likely be equity, and they're trading down a tiny bit here, actually less than the market. So, I mean, you would think that maybe that would drag them down a little bit more based on that provision being put through. That being said, they're holding up relatively well, and you can see the consolidation, at least in United Airlines here, around this $35 area. I was looking at only a couple of things. I know yesterday in Micron, I got a little bit too cute. I had written down only two levels, way up at the top 145 and no support till 40. Today, I'm looking at a very, very similar thing. I have a break at 34.50, but it's almost like there's a massive gap to 40 that I don't want to get too involved in unless you can break out long in UAL and then have a reasonable stop here in case it's going to be strong. But on weakness, I don't even want to be touching it. If it gets any kind of a move up, there's no way I'm going to jump in front of the sword until it gets to that resistance point, Brendan.
I see a question here on Apple, and I think that's worth looking in as well. We have Daniel Shea coming today. I know Brendan telling me she wants to talk a little bit about Microsoft. Here's Apple right here, guys. If we wanted to zoom in quickly to this one, we're talking about getting an entry point. Look, this is the bottom here is 251.25. I don't mind that, but it's just simply way too close. I forget who was asking about this. Sebastian, it looks like, on the chat, guys. This is just too close for me. Yesterday, I put a bid all the way down here, a couple dollars, and was able to get filled. Could be another play today. It's not really moving too much, though, but I do like, if you like a top break, 254. If you zoom that back out to yesterday as well, you got this 254 right here, this top. So I like a break of 254.25 if you're looking long. Or, I mean, it's kind of easy. This is 250 down here. So 254 for a long and 250 for a break down. So I think that looks pretty good for those of you that are looking at Apple today. Right now down 2.63%, similar to the market, although the S&P now falling even more, down 3.5% right now in the S&P 500.
Picking up some steam to the downside as well. These little mortgage REITs, guys, have been on a wild ride over the past couple of days. I want to talk about that MFA. Did more than 100 million shares yesterday in volume, moving around again this morning in the pre-market on significant volume. There was a bit of a gap to the upside that's been sold. Coming down pretty hard. In fact, just holding this $2 right now. I mean, this thing got up to $2.90 yesterday on just, immense volume. What do we think of MFA today, guys?
I kind of wish I was involved in that little pop back up through that 225 area. I mean, that looks like a fantastic pre-market short. You sort of look at the afternoon yesterday when you got to that 215 mark here. There was a bit of a bottom and breakout through that price earlier on. So a nice little level, and you get the breakdown right through that 215 and 225 area. It's hard to take this one if you did miss this trade here at 9 o'clock or so, or maybe you had it at 8:45. So you're basically looking for it to maybe recover into that 230, 240, similar to what we looked at with NVAX yesterday. Actually just popped into, I talked about defending a buck over there on ACB, so I'm going to start doing that now. I actually just saw it pop to a $1.10, so pick some shares up at 111. Brennan, you also mentioned that BKYI up 300%. We're fading that one off a 225 area there. It's got a 240 top, but looking at that. So I've got that play to the south side. MFA, we certainly did miss out on that one.
I haven't looked too much at MFA or anything. Where's that camera? Hey, today. So we will look at that, but it's a mover. Make sure you guys are able to trade it to the short side. Talk to your broker. Make sure that, again, you can borrow any of those shares if you do need it. And borrowing is, if you're looking to go short, you have to borrow your shares. So you grab them from the broker, put them back in the market, hopefully at a lower price. But if you can, look for MFA. And look, I mean, it's a wild mover. You can trade a lot of shares. So good luck if you're doing that. I'm still got my eye here on Apple. It's kind of cool that we're going to be having Arun very soon. I think maybe even up next on the front line here to talk a little bit about these futures. So I don't know if my Unity is working, but no one seems to be using it. So we are ready when we're ready. Let's go.
Always ready, always standing by. Arun is here. He's going to talk us through what he's looking at as far as the NASDAQ futures are concerned today. Obviously a big, 2-3 day rally back to the upside. Coming back in today, what are we looking at?
Okay, so I've got a couple levels marked out to start the day off here. The bottom one here is 7,600. I think until we get to that, we've got some chance of going up. If we get underneath, it's going to be quite a downside there. Now we could bounce off of it. There's a lot of sell pressure coming into that level. So the top side I've got 7,900, bottom is about 7,600. That's 300 points. That's a lot of space to move around. So there may be some levels developed throughout the day unless we take this out. Now I sent this half an hour ago, and we're about 50 points from that low. That low could get taken very quickly given how the market's moving. And below that, I've got about 74.60 as the next support level. So for now, we're stuck in a 300-point range. Possible takeout of the 7,600 opens the door for about 150, 140, 150 points to the downside. And then you got a massive resistance. If the 7,600 goes, with the amount of selling that you're getting, this level could hold for the rest of the day. So it could be something to pay attention to as we get through. And then if we break it, to watch for the rest of the day.
It was interesting to see yesterday. I really noticed that, we did get a big move back to the upside, but as far as the volatility was concerned, it was a lot more orderly. It wasn't a lot of panic. It was more kind of just marching to the upside, grinding, as we like to say, to the upside. If we see that volatility come back in today, do we see it to the upside or the downside? What's your thought on that?
Do you see it to the upside or the downside? I don't know.
It's tough.
As a trader, I don't think it matters. Right? You just have, for me at least, I mark my levels off. I'll try to find a trade in front of it. Mind you, I have the level marked, but I'm seeing so much selling that I'm not willing to step in just yet. I would like to, but if I can step in, then I would love to see some volatility, whether it's to the upside or downside, because even if I lose, it's okay, because then this acts as resistance for me now. So I can take my short and try to make some money back on the sell side, right? So it's okay, I don't care, as long as volatility goes up. Yesterday, absolutely, it was a little bit more orderly, is more, subdued. But then you did see at 350, as of 350, final 10 minutes, the market just took off. Apparently there was a big imbalance to the buy. So the buy. We popped about 80 points within about less than 10 seconds on the NASDAQ futures, and we went another, I think, about 80 points after that into the close. So volatility is there. It's a Friday, and then, as we're nearing the end of the month, this is the last Friday of the month, there could be a lot of things in play that we don't know of just yet.
So we've seen, a bit of consolidation, I guess, in front of the 7,600. So just to review, 7,600, 7,900 to the top, huge range there, and then around that kind of 7,450 if we get below 7,600 as far as support goes.
I've got another one down here at 7,310. That'll be the next 3 support levels, 76, 74.60, and 73.10.
There we go, guys. That's a look at the NASDAQ as we head towards the open. Let's go over to Neil.
Thank you very much. Love having Arun on here, get that different perspective. I know you guys in the chat love to get it. It's what it's all about. You have to see what's going on in the overall market. That is the tone of what we're looking at on a daily basis when we see this increased volatility. Even if you have individual names that are a preference for you, certainly you can't ignore those key levels over there in the futures. I actually got into, I mentioned to you guys this BKYI. We did get into this one here. So actually working some shorts out. We got the 216. We just got out at 211. We took some out at 206. It broke $2 briefly to get a 20-cent win, almost 10% there, and looking to scale back into this one at about the same price. But we need to get you guys to Valeria. She's all over the chat. She's right here. She'll be there all day. Direct your questions towards her. Good morning, Valeria.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Trader TV Live, and I wish you a great Friday. Well, guys, the whole world now is self-quarantined. Well, I hope that you're staying at home if you can do that. Though, guys, check this out. We are now here having a social distancing as well, so you can be sure that we are safe, and we'll continue to entertain you and teach you and trade with you while you're safe at home. Guys, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe for our channel. Please support us and help spread around the world our show. And if you're watching us from Facebook, like and share our video. I'll see you later, and back to the traders.
All right, let's continue along here, guys. Neil was mentioning that BKYI, interesting move to the upside today. Surprisingly, not related to the coronavirus. This is a very, very teeny tiny little stock, $7 million market cap only on that one. They announced they've received a $45 million contract for some infrastructure and employment work over in Nigeria. So the company has a $7 million market cap. The contract's worth 45 plus million. You can do the math on that. That thing's up significantly, to say the least, this morning. Let's go to AYTU Biosciences, another one that that is related to the coronavirus. They announced a $20 million offering this morning and also announced they've commenced distribution of over 100,000 test kits for the coronavirus. So we're seeing another little pop here, guys, for AYTU up this morning, but definitely off the highs up here at 180.
I mean, this looks almost exactly like the morning in yesterday's session, looking at Thursday. It didn't gap up very much, but it traded up to that 180 mark as well, and then just spent the rest of the day fading. Most of that happening in the morning, and then it just sort of settled out there. So there wasn't much of a trade unless you caught the short right off the open. And today it looks like basically the same thing. We just moved to the upside, gapping up right to 180, and it's fallen all the way back down to the top end of that range. It's basically lost a little bit of its volatility for me. The volume's still okay, but AYTU, I just feel like BKYI is going to be a little bit more active today, and jumping into some ACB as well. There are going to be some more interesting names. Maybe if we get some kind of a breakout or maybe take out that low from yesterday, that'll be interesting to me. One note on BKYI, Brendan, you mentioned how small the company is, how low that, how small the cap is going to be. You got to watch out, have very, very tight stops. You do not want to get caught if this one moves to the upside. So when I trade one of these ones to the short side, you have very, very tight stops. I'm not even waiting till the high of the day. Sean, thoughts on that AYTU? I know I'm not that interested in myself.
Yeah, to be honest with you caught me off guard because I'm not even looking at it either, so that's okay. I did see a question here about from Drapoon. Cool name. Any thoughts about RCL? Yeah, Royal Caribbean here. I do have a thought about it. And I like Royal Caribbean right here. I think it's a little bit overdone, down 7% to the downside. Obviously, people aren't taking any cruises, so we're not really worried about that. I'm just looking at a technical level here. It bounced, and this is why I'm showing this yesterday. I mean, look at this. This is just yesterday. I mean, can you believe this? $49, almost $50 to the top, all the way down here. Drops about $10 in the afternoon. But look where it stops. It stops at about 38, 38.09, 38.10, and then this morning basically the exact same top. So if we could just draw like a little line here, it's kind of a very, very simple technical trade here. If you can break through this 38, 38.20 or so level, which we're getting close to right now, I like the long here in Royal Caribbean. I mean, call me crazy, but this could be a good situation. We did see a $10 move yesterday. If you do go long, you do have a little VWAP here at 37.25. So you can almost give it about $1 worth of room here to work with on Royal Caribbean. I like that spot, and I think it's a good place to get your money in. I'm getting ready for those key Apple levels, 254 and 250. And then now we do have RCL here busting through, I believe, 38.20 or so. But if you get in that 38.10-ish area, I'd look to go long on this one based on this chart. But before we go back to Brendan, quickly, we haven't done the imbalance locator yet. I just want to call that up because it is something that we were talking about earlier, and it's ACB. So I'll hit the Batman weed thing here. You got 3.5 million shares to buy. Now there's that MFA that Neil went over a little bit there. We love trading BAC. Well, I do anyways, in some of the banks. I know Neil looks at JPM as well. Uber's on the look, and here's Carnival Cruise. So Carnival Cruise right now is a negative sell imbalance. So there is going to be some sell pressure on some of these names to start the day. Obviously with the Dow, continuing to head down here, the S&P down near 3%, Brendan, only 2 minutes before we open.
Yeah, 2 minutes to go here, Sean. I'll come right back to you. I want to get your opinion on Facebook. I mean, this news not really going to move the stock, I don't think, but worth mentioning, one of their directors stepping aside, not seeking re-election on the board. Former Deputy Treasury Secretary in the U.S., Robert Kimmitt, will take the place, according to reports. What are your thoughts on Facebook today, Sean?
Robert Kimmitt, eh? Okay. I have no idea. Unless it's Sheryl Sandberg or whatever the other guy's name is, something Zuckerberg. I'm just playing Mark Zuckerberg. Unless it's one of those guys there, I'm not overly concerned about this. I am more looking at what Facebook has done over the last little while. You see this huge move into the close yesterday. 158, man, all the way to 162. That's $5 straight up. They give it all back right now. And if we zoom this out even more, if I can, no, I'm on the wrong tool here. If we can't, just go backwards. You'll see here this little bottom 157. This is kind of what we're looking at. And then today we open up and we're at 157.50. So I would say I like it to the short side. If this market can't get going, look for a short of Facebook through 158. I don't know, Neil, do you have any opinions on this one?
No, I was looking at basically, I mean, you said 158. I was kind of looking at that bottom right before that move to the upside, just like you said. And those little pivot points on these massive rallies up or down those afternoons have been great levels yesterday, so nothing to add. I mean, 158 is a great level there. I do think, wow, okay, we got about 28 seconds, under 30 seconds until we get to the bell here. Time absolutely flying. I do believe we are going to be doing the ringing of the bell as per usual. As we told you guys, we're doing some social distancing. Brendan is going to be staying over at the desk. Sean and I are separated, but everything else, we're going to try to create the exact same experience. But the market is about to open here. We're going to open just above that 2,500 mark. I'm already in some ACB. That 158 level could come into play. 3, 2, 1. And the market is now open. There we go. The bell not rung, but at 158 almost immediately going to be tested on Facebook. Looking at it right here, trying to trade through. It's already to the downside. Market holding up, however, when I look at the ES, there goes Facebook all the way through. I'm watching this ACB because it's digging down towards that 105. So forget about that buy inbounds. Looks like we're headed southbound on ACB for the time being. I do have the short in BKYI. I mentioned this one to you. It's retaken 2. It did not give me the re-entry in front of 220, so we're just short 216, in the money about 20 cents or so, looking to see if we can't get a big time flush on BKYI. It's down, it's up 270%, was 300 a few minutes ago.
158.70, yeah, so we took a very, very small short. Okay, there we go. We just got long Microsoft as well through 152. We're gonna see what that one can do here to the top side. Our Facebook short though right now, 157 and change. I gotta give this one at least to 158.50, so we'll average into our Facebook, but we are long Microsoft right now and short Facebook, guys. Long softy right here, 152. I'll put my chart out a little bit here. Let's see if we can't get this going. There's the tick to go long, guys. 152 on Facebook and short, on Microsoft and short Facebook right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned there, Sean, Carnival Cruise had that sell imbalance. Well, here it comes to the downside right off of the open. We talked about that little bottom there at 1530, maybe a breakout if it gets past 1630 to 1660. So you have a $1.50 range that I don't want to be participating in the middle of. But if we think we can rally off of this little bottom here, that could be interesting. Whoa, 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 we just got a halt in BKYI, and I still have 1/4 of my position short, as this one, it's not a volatility halt because it just opened up. So you know what, this could be very, very interesting. In about 5 minutes, I think we'll get that one reopening. Just got to double check to make sure it's a volatility halt there and not something else.
Yeah, do you still have your Facebook? Well, the Facebook right now is cruising right now for a bruising. In the money right now, 55 pennies on this Facebook short, 157.20. We have that. Let's see if we can't cash this out down here. I don't even know where my orders are. Okay, there's a bid there, 155.80. So we'll wait to see if that one comes in. We just average in there now. 158.50 is where we're going to blow off the top here on Facebook. Just took some more short there. Microsoft trying to go. We're still long 152. Really done nothing on this one. Let's wait to see if this one gets going through 152, like we said. And there we go. Now Apple coming into the short side as well. We are now short this name, guys. 250.23 right now, moving to the downside here. Apple short, Facebook short, softy long. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook short is great, but I mean, I'm looking at this ACB, which is the only thing that I have to the long side. And look, we're testing that $1 even. We talked about defending this one. It had the buy and balance. It doesn't seem to matter at this point. We're going to see if it doesn't break. Facebook there. Whoa, yeah, we just got it. There you go. Well, I'll punch it through for you there, Sean, as it just took out 156.50. I just took half out there for about $1, but I got to watch out for this ACB, buddy.
Yeah, I got a bid. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll have to go over to ACB. What is that doing? Going up?
It's right at 101, 102 right now.
Okay, so it's heading downside. Here's Facebook, guys. Average in, bang, bang, bang. Punch you in the face, Facebook. Then we get out right there, 156.48. We still got 20%. Maybe not so good. Our Apple trade right now, we are short right here, 250.23. Wow, that ticked all the way down $1, and I didn't even notice that one. So Apple right now, we are short that one. But watch the futures, guys. I've got 2 shorts, Apple and Softy, and Microsoft long, Apple and Facebook to the short side. Still waiting for RCL to do something.
Yeah, and this is an interesting thing happening over in the futures. Not really moving too much as I look at the NQ and both the ES, just 10 handle moves in each, maybe to the upside there. Facebook continues to look pretty good, and we're trying our best. I mean, the market's trying its best on this ACB to hold out at $1. You know, we dug in with the vast majority of our shares down in the 104 range, so starting a little bit early, could have had a 101, 102 price certainly. Not going to let this one break. We can always revisit the trade later, take the small hit and see if you can't get a bigger move. We are still waiting for BKYI to reopen, and Sean, I know you mentioned Carnival Cruise there. it's trying to rebound, so it doesn't quite get to that low 1530. We just bounced off 1550. I could take one shot at this one in front of that little bottom on a little pop here. I think I'll dig in at least for the first time on CCL and see if we can't get a nice little move bouncing off of this little low here, 1550.
Okay, we're averaging in a little bit here into Apple. It's all good. Our Facebook trade continues to be a nice little winner for us. We are now 83 cents in the money on this Facebook short 157.67. Bang, bang, and a couple covers out here. We'll see if we can't cover lower. Our Apple trade, we've got a decent amount of shares now. We just averaged in ahead of 251, and here we come screaming to the downside. So 250.30 right now. It's not a great spot, but if this Apple wants to crash, and here it goes, nice little average in near 251. But look at this, it bounces, man. This Apple has about $1 worth of move in it, like every 5 seconds here. It seems like it, but right now to the downside continues, Neil, with our Facebook. That looks like that's going to be our best trade.
Yeah, Facebook looks absolutely fantastic. We just tried the shot there, of course, in CCL. Bit of a keystroke. You end up with more shares than I wanted on the break. I wanted to save some bullets for the bottom there, so we take some out very, very quickly on the scalp. Brendan, what do you got for us?
Just first on that BKYI, that is volatility halt. Neil just checked. ASTC, another one here moving so far 64% to the upside, guys. Just bounced off $6 up here. A little bit of resistance. They announced a new breath test that can detect COVID-19, guys.
Ooh, that's nice. What stock was that?
Breath test?
ASTC. Okay, good little look there. That would be a nice.
Yeah, I'm going to add that one to the board.
Keep complaining about not enough tests, so it would be really nice to get something like that to come through. Okay, we were waiting for a break of 156 there. It actually didn't happen on Facebook. It touched it, then reversed completely back to the upside. So I'm going to put an order here at 156 even, see if we do fall back down on this Facebook. It's been my biggest stock so far. We're still holding on to this Apple short, but as you can see, man, the future's here, starting to work its way back to the north side. So Apple may be a little bit in trouble here as we go. We still have Microsoft long, Apple, and Facebook. That's the only stocks we're trading right now. I'm going to check back on RCL in a minute.
Yeah, Sean, I'm just going to quickly put up my position board just so you guys can see it here. If we can update it. There we go. Is this even working? You know what, can't seem to get this one working here, but I'll let you guys know manually. We have Facebook at 157.57. I'm moving my stop actually just above break even, but the big story is going to be for me reopening on BKYI just now, and I did have a stop through 225, and it reopens, takes it out, and I had a reversal long at that price, so we end up grabbing the long at 222 basically instantly off that little open. So it's going to try to make a run to this high. I'd like to take some out in front of that 245 high of the day if we can, and then see if we can't run the rest through, but I have a hard stop at 2 even.
Yeah, RCL going the other way. I talked about trying to get Carnival Cruise Lines above $38, but that's not happening. So let's check out RCL right now as I'm trying to massage this Apple trade down then. So hopefully that can come back into the money for us. Here's RCL. Wow, just a continuing downward move here, looking to break through $35. So I think that should be a great little short here. $35 on RCL. If that does break, you could get some disastrous moves here, including multiple dollars to the downside here. Here comes Apple. We just take a little bit out there. We've averaged in. Look, if this market falls here, we're going to have a nice little monster on our hands. But for right now, a short Apple and our average price, 250.70. Our Facebook average price right now, 157.67. So that's $1 in the money on Facebook, 25 cents out right now on Apple. But if the market comes down, I do like this Apple short, guys.
I'll give you the long position here, and that was going to be that ACB. It defends well. We loaded up. I should have taken more shares at this 1 and 2 range. Unfortunately, because we started in the pre-market with a tenth of our position literally at 110, just so we could have a piece of the pie. It's now back above that 110 mark. Just took some out. Average price was 104.5. Got some out at 110. Gonna hang on. Only 10% out so far. I'd love to see us retest that 120. Sean, you were mentioning 150. I mean, you get a breakthrough 120, 125. This could really get going. I want to have something on board in case that happens, even if it's only 10 to 15%.
Yep, good look. So right now it's still just Microsoft, Apple here on the go. I'm not sure why my chart still says Microsoft here. It's all frozen up, so I'll go to Brendan.
All right, guys, Works. Another one jumping in the mask game, the COVID-19 mask game here, WORX, up 42%-ish. Very thinly traded, but big time relative volume. This thing barely trades. Otherwise, little thin name, but WORX moving, guys.
Thanks a lot there, Brendan. Works certainly going to be in the works for us today. I'm just going to continue to scale a little bit out here in this 110, 111 ranges we're holding up just a little bit on ACB, and you want to make sure you can take some profit off here so that you can reload in case we defend that $1 even area again. And again, it's been a very strong market for the cannabis space. I want to make sure we're positioned to the long side. The market holding at this 3% down basically on the ES, not getting too much movement. If we get any kind of a flush, I'm hanging on to this Facebook, and I slid my stop. At some point, I got to think about getting back in, and I did want something in the 157.50 range. Not going to happen. Is here comes 156, Sean. It just feels like I'm not going to be able to get a better price. If we take out this bottom, do I have to add there? Are we going to get a pullback into 157? Tough to say. Whoa, there goes some more ACB up through 112. So good look on that one.
Yeah, good look on ACB for sure. So we'll hit the weed Batman. I'm waiting for this 156 to come through here on Facebook. I'm still short 157.67. So right now, guys, this is $1.25 in the money. So we hit the swoosh. It's bounced off here a little bit too many times here at 156. We're going to put a bid right here. Come on, baby. We're at 156.11. Trying to get hit. We're sitting there on the bid. Let's go. And there it is. Bang. Your boy right there. We're not smoking weed, but it feels good right here as we just took $1.50 out there of Facebook. So that's a big winner. Bang, bang. We talked about that one early. We hit it here, averaging beautifully. And now, my only Achilles heel right here is Apple. So if that can start falling as well, Apple relatively strong, it seems like. Averaged in on that 250 break. I told you guys we were going to take that. We took a 251 and then we took a 251.50, and now we're back in the money, but we're in the money 25 cents. We're looking for a little bit more here on Apple. 250 and change I'll be getting out. Maybe I'll put a small bid here. We've averaged in 3 times, so I can afford to take some out.
I did the same thing as you getting out of that Facebook, but then BKY, I'm telling you, this stock is insane. The first short pre-market should have been the only thing we did. We get out of our last quarter of the position and reverse to the long side, and it halts once again. So Brendan, this stock just keeps going. It halts, it opens up, it halts. It's gonna be one of those days. I'm probably gonna back off risk for this one when this one reopens. But Facebook now back below that 156 mark. Carnival bounces all the way into that $16 range and looks like it wants to fade again. I talked about a 1630 to 1650 break. We're going to use that level for a reversal, but after losing on the long, I'm going to jump into some shorts on this one. Brendan, what do you got?
Small direct, guys. SDC, second day in a row here. Nice pop again today from 520. We're approaching $6 already on SDC. Big time relative volume on that one, guys.
Damn you, SDC. I did not get that trade in yesterday in the afternoon. I wanted SDC, but my bad on that one. Okay, Facebook $1.60 now in the money, breaking down lower. Apple is 70 cents in the money, so bang, we explode that up right now. We've taken it out a couple times. Apple looking to break through 250. Let's get going here to the downside if we can. It's been a nice little move down in the futures. If Apple goes, guys, I'm waiting at 249.70 to get out of some more shares, but it's been a nice little day for us today. No complaints. Come on, let's go. See if we can't break this 250, guys. If Apple wants to get going, I'll be part of this one. We are already short 250.90 right now, so this is a 90-cent winner and $1.50 on Facebook.
Yeah, quick little look at Carnival. We're back in this puppy here at 1577. Tried to add on this little move right here at 1590. Wasn't able to get it, but we're headed back southbound. The market's starting to fall off here. If 2500 gets taken out, you got to have some shorts on. So we're in Carnival to the short side. Our long is going to be an ACB, which we think can possibly hold up a little bit above that dollar even area, even on a flush. But let's see if we can't take out this little 1540 low here, already in the money, about 20 cents or so. Brendan, what do you got?
Just put this in the chat, guys, but worth watching maybe the Canadian banks for a bit of a move here. Bank of Canada coming out for the third time this month, cutting interest rates again today by 50 basis points to just 0.25% now here in Canada. So unexpected rate cut again today from the Bank of Canada, guys.
All right, we'll check out some BNS, some RY and whatnot. So let's just check that out right now. RY on oursystem.to here. So you'll see that pop through. This is Royal Bank, the largest bank here in Canada. And you're going to see here, not really doing too much. We're still down that 4.5%. No pre-market trading. That's why you see a 0 here. But expected or not, Royal Bank goes up about $1 and now fades right back in another $1. So good look on that one. And wow, there we go, guys. Apple kablam. Doesn't matter where I'm sitting apparently here. This is another $2 winner on Apple. $2 winner on Apple, $2 winner on Facebook. Let's go, baby. No crying about spilt milk sitting over here today, Brendan.
Hey, good luck there.
Your seat is great luck.
Kevin talking about beyond, it's looking just as weak as it was yesterday. Same levels you can be working off of that 70 area, but very, very low and tight volume there at 600,000. Watch out for this bottom at 65, 60. If that gets taken out, I expect maybe you can catch a little bit of a bounce there if it's going to happen. CCL, Carnival Cruise, we did throw this one to the short side, 1577. That's still working for us in the money. I do want to be adding to Carnival at some point if I can get it, but it hasn't given any kind of a pullback. So we take out that low, we're just going to ride the shorts we have unless we get any kind of a significant pullback on that name. I'll go back to ACB as well, which is going to work its way back down into that 101 range. I'm going to be loading back up in ACB. We took some off, of course, when it got about 10% of the money. Now we're going to start loading back in if we get anything in 103, 104, same prices we had before, and the future's about to hit the bottom there, Brennan.
Tilray, guys, just bounced off 10 there. Looks like it was halted on a volatility move there. We moved up to 10 and held, and now back to the downside. But Tilray with the halt. Hexo, also another one moving so far, guys.
Wow, Tilray. I mean, that stock is absolutely nuts. I mean, talk about a little bit of a confetti there if you're long any of those weed names. Congratulations on that. We still are looking. This is $2.50 winner right now on on Apple. Unfortunately, though, looking at this chart here, 248.40. You missed that one. I would have took some out there. I love getting those half penny levels there. So a half dollar there, 248.50 should have been an out. So we park an order now, and I'm bidding 248.50 as we speak to see if we can't come right back down to this area now and get going. But the futures are starting to tick up. So we do have a $2.50 winner on that one. Our Facebook, we're still short 157.67. 157.67. So it's disco ball fever for me today. It's been a fantastic day. Was nervous whenever you trade and you switch your trading spot. You're not used to everything here. So it did take me a little while, but don't worry. It's dance time right now. Nice little big winner. We did give you all of these trades on our open show. So make sure that you guys definitely check us out here early and often. 9 a.m. we start, and we're live on YouTube. Smash that like, subscribe, guys. We're going to be here literally as much as we can. You can see the social distancing. Yeah, what's up, Brandon?
You absolutely said it when you talked about levels in the morning, and we talked about ACB, and we're in this one nicely here, but I only gave two numbers here on the United Airlines, and I'm going to be sick to myself because we talked about 34.50 to 35 as a breakdown. It is what it is. You can see the move off of the open. Almost impossible to have caught this. Maybe if you had maybe you took the opening print, you can go short at 35. However, on the way down, almost impossible to grab this one until it bases out at 33 and still gives you another dollar. So tremendous pullback and weakness. We talked about the reasons why the provisions in the bill where an equity stake is likely or possible to be taken. Mnuchin coming out and saying that with those grants. We do still have Carnival Cruise that continues to head to the south side here, short at 15.77. It's just that, and BAC, of course, that long. But this is that bottom I want to see get taken out. 15.40 or so. Then you get the pre-market low at 15.30. Then we'll see if we can't get a run to 15 even on that one. BKYI reopens and again touches that $2 area. I'm stepping away from that one, not liking the price action. ACB looking fantastic, but here comes Carnival Cruise to the bottom.
Yeah, you want to talk about coming to the bottom here, and Rob, if you could put my position board on, that'd be fantastic. But I will review it regardless right now anyways. Just let me know through Unity if you can get it. Facebook right now, $2.20 winner right now. Okay, let's trigger it right now then, just to show people the prices that we're in on right now. My position board, let's go. If you can put it up. And I don't know if it's up yet. There it is. It's coming up. No, not accurate. Okay, so you can take it off there. That's the scoreboard. The position board right now. Facebook downside $2.55 in the money now. We are short 157.67. That's a $2.50 winner. Our Apple trade. Hello, this is right back to where we said it would be. I pulled my bid. We want more. This is a $3 winner. So I have back-to-back $3 winners on right now. Facebook to the short side and Apple to the short side. We are just swishing it once again today. What a fantastic day. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Back-to-back jacks for me right now. Actually, if we're going to do that, we might as well hit home run. Yesterday, I think, was supposed to be Major League Baseball opening day, but obviously that does not happen. So
yeah, don't remind me. We missed out on opening day, but we're not going to miss out on the shorts on Carnival here. You talk about the airlines going down, of course, the cruise ships as well. Sort of sympathetic to this move. Down 15%. You're seeing us roll over here through the low. We're approaching 2,500 on the ES, which gives us some juice here. I'm going to be taking this one off in front of 15, like I mentioned. Always the opportunity to get back in on a crack of that little bottom. So when you have what's a 60-cent win on a name like this, it's 16 bucks. We'll floss it off. We'll take it. I do like a pullback into that 1560 to 70 range. I do also want to monitor that ACB position, which continues to bounce off that $1 even mark, now holding 105. We're long at 102. But the only long that I like right now is in that cannabis space, Sean. Just about everything else that I'm seeing is very, very weak. We did miss out on that Beyond Meat trade, Kevin. I know you were talking about this one, but I do think I'm very comfortable with this as long as we get anywhere near that 67, 68 target entry, using what yesterday turned into a stop between 69 and 70, 50. So we do like that. I think it can be a nice trade even on a pullback if the market catches a bottom. That'll be interesting. And once again, BKYI halts over and over again, this time to the downside. Watch out, because now it's below $2.
156 in change here on whatever this stock is here. Facebook, we're going to wait for this one. So right now this is a $2.50 winner. We've talked about that. I'm going to give it all the way back to this level here, 156.20 or so. So we're going to give this another $1 worth of room. Hopefully Facebook can keep coming back to the downside, which it is right now. I mean, what a great little trade this has been today. Love these shorts today. Only in right now Facebook and Apple. I am looking at that Smile Direct though. I love that name, but it did come up to $6. And then look at this drop, Brendan, all the way back down to 550. So thanks for bringing that to our attention. A lot of action on this one, 3.3 million shares. Definitely going to have a look at this one if it does get back above 570. I think that could be a decent punch long here if we do need something. So I'm going to try to do that with a stop order, 570 long here on Smile Direct. It's only at 560, so that could be a trade for you guys looking to scalp something quickly on a market rebound here.
Greg, what about your GameStop? Oh, you're not going to short it today. Look at this nice move right off of the open all the way down to 460, comes right back testing 5 even at the top, and it looks like it wants to take out these lows once again. So this looks like a pretty decent in terms of weakness name. GameStop, of course, having the nice little rally the last few sessions. We were talking about this one rather heavily this morning. I did like the 488 level. Very, very tricky unless you caught it on the way back down. We like those shorts in some of the more bigger and more active names, but you will see me dip into this one. If we get anywhere close to that $48 to $5 range, going to be all over this one on a pullback here. GameStop, Greg, I hope you're making a little bit of money on that. And drop on there, we're looking at ACB in New York. Sorry for the confusion, should have made sure we said that. I wanted to trade it in the pre-market. There's really not as much activity if you traded in Toronto in the pre-market, so we got it in New York, and I'm just going to stick where we started.
Okay, so Apple, I just put an order out here, 250.31. That's this little top here, this top wick. If it does get up to that spot, we will drop it. There goes Smile Direct. I know we're getting ready for Brendan. I am now long 573. The spread here, 5 pennies. So breaking of 570 triggers us into this long on Smile Direct. So right now, a couple hundred shares long right now at 570. So we're going to wait to see what this one wants to do. Maybe it wants to run back up to $6. What's up, Brandon?
Yeah, nice little pullback there for SDC. Guys, Altimmune as well. ALT down this morning. If you're looking for something on the weak side, they reported full year financial results. You can see in the pre-market here, big move to the downside. This is $3 here. We're all the way down to $2.65, trying to bounce a little, but this was one that was involved initially in the whole coronavirus craze, but moving back to the downside, ALT, guys.
A little bit of a bounce here just off of the ES is looking at that 2,500, holding out just a little bit. So I come over to an Intel, which is one that I've liked, at least with a little bit of strength, and I see it basing out, off of the open, 52.65 or so was the bottom, and now trying to break through 53. So what I might do is just use that level, start a position on 53. At 53 here, we just got up some 06s, work it in front of that little low, maybe add if we can get a dip down. We can maybe take more if it gets up through VWAP, but again, just thinking that we have a little bit of strength coming back into these markets. I now find myself, of course, with the ACB long still, and now adding Intel to the picture. I mean, I could have looked at something else, but I see Facebook not really bouncing off those lows. That's not a long for me, but Intel holding up a little bit better right now.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, for that, for the position board here. We'll try it, and we'll throw up the position board right now. No, it's still not working because it still shows me in Microsoft. So, but that's okay. And Apple longs, yeah, no, position board not working here. I'm wondering if the position board's working at the bottom right now. I'm not sure, because right now, just to let you guys know, short Apple, short Facebook, long Smile Direct is what we have right here. And Smile Direct's starting to work. We're long right now 73s, and it's at 82, so that's not bad. A nice little 10-cent winner here, but we want more, like I said, to this name. I think we can get a run back up to $6. I am waiting, though, at 84 right there. What did it get as high as? Oh, it got as high as 83. What a surprise. Okay, so Smile Direct, looking to get more on that one. I did talk about dropping my Apple. It comes right back up to that 250-30 area. We don't get out because it doesn't break. So we're going to wait to see on that break. But right now, it's everything cruising to the south side, it looks like. My Apple, my Facebook, and my Smile Direct all just kind of chilling out right now, guys.
Yeah, speaking of cruising to the south side there, Sean, Under Armour, a name that's been under pressure. It's down 7.5% here, looking like it wants to test those lows. Alert to this $9 even, that it's looking like it wants to break through again. So I'm going to get a stop order ready for a breakout of the low of the day, just using this 925 maybe as a base of operations for a stop. But Brendan, what do you got for us there, buddy?
Another one of the mask makers going here, guys. APT.AM up about 20%. Big time volume just came into this through $10. So we broke 10 on the way back up, immediately above $11. So APT off to the races, guys.
Yeah, this was $36 at one point, APT. Yeah. So good little look there. Thanks, Brendan. We're going to wait for the Smile Direct to get back down below $5.40. Here's APT. Should have maybe took that 10 cents on Smile Direct, but whatever, that's not enough. Here we go. This is what we're talking about. Great little look. Starts at 920, gets blasted here. Tons of volume coming through. If I can find my daily chart, I'll throw it up to you to show you guys just how crazy this stock is. So before the coronavirus, you do have down here $3 cruising, not doing much around the $3 range. Then it gets elevated. Can you believe this thing touched $45 at one point? Now we're right back down to 10. So is there room to run on this name? Hell's to the yes. This can easily break it high here of 1160. Might not be a bad spot to try it, though. 1160 seems like a lot. We're already up 16%. But here we go. Facebook still down. Still a $3 winner on this name. Unfortunately, the scoreboard update, or the position board, not updating for me. But you guys, hopefully it's working. Apple short, Facebook short, Smile Direct long. Those are the three names that we're working with right now. I'm going to head over to Walmart. I crushed that one yesterday. Let's head back to it now.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty good there, Sean. I mean, Intel, I have to the long side. We just picked that one up in front of 65. So relatively tight stop here. You can see we just got 87s there long. ACB still working with that 102. I just brought up Virgin Galactic here. Market trying to bounce. We have very, very low in terms of volatility, at least off of the open here. And I'm watching a name like a Virgin Galactic bouncing off the bottom. I usually like to fade this one to the south side. So the fact that it's holding lower, definitely a good sign. I'm already hedging along with Intel, so I can go tight stop here with a bit of a short area in between 1550 and this 1575 mark to start something in Smile Direct. I'm kind of watching to see if we can base out here on a name like a Facebook, and then Carnival Cruise is approaching that $15 that we talked about on a possible break.
Yeah, so we just get in right now, so we hit the Batman weed. We're finally in this game. I see some people asking some questions about CGC, so let's go. CGC right here, $15 bottom. Love these kind of plays. We take some long at 17 there, then we take some more long at 24. We're all the way at 29 right now. So my position right now is $21 cents. 15.21 to the long side right here in CGC. So let's see if we can't get the party started on a quarantine Friday. And here we go, guys. We're smiling right now. CGC right into the money. A quick 12, 15 pennies here. Thank you, Valeria, for the coffee. That's very, very kind of you. Cheers. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Here goes CGC. Batman is in the building, guys. CGC right away upside here. We're long 21s. It's at 50 there, 45. So a nice little win there on the top side. Just to check you guys out, we did get out of some of our Apple trade. We only have half left. What's up, Brandon?
Another one to look at, guys. Casper, the mattress maker, moving to the downside today. Citigroup with a downgrade on this one. Not a lot of volume yet, but broke 450 there at the open, down to about 4. Getting a bit of a bounce. This thing was trading below $4 yesterday. So CSPR down about 8% so far, guys.
Good look there, Brendan. I can tell you Intel's looking to try to bounce off this little bottom here. It just touched 53 again, like I mentioned, 52.87 to the long side if we can get a breakthrough view off. Look at this top here in the pre-market, 54. Right at the open is what we touched. I would expect a little bit of resistance at that price if we can get the market going to the upside and continue that strength, the strong run we've had all week. I think Intel is nicely poised to run off the bottom here. I will take some out at VWAP for the quick little 40-cent scalp, and that'll be probably a third of the position. And I'm still watching Facebook holding that 155. And another note here, Carnival, a little bit of a battle forming here at the bottom, shy of that 15 even area. Look at this. I've seen it come a couple of times down to this 15.10. A lot of buying stepping up here, and Carnival's down 15%. This could be an interesting break back to the upside play. You got to be careful here. Probably want a tight stop if you go long. Market's still holding a little bit of weakness, so I will jump into some Carnival. It has been one win, one lose, and the loss is bigger than the win ultimately, so it's not a stock that I think I had the best read on so far, but I do think we have a nice little bottom put in. I can go tight stop here, just grab 15-18 to the long side to add to our long in Intel.
Okay, yeah, that's a good little look there. I'm trying to average in a little bit here to Apple, and that's what we're doing right now, using 251 as the stop. So we just get out. You can see that's sort of VWAP's 251.40 251.04. So right now we've averaged into some Apple, and that's good. So we'll see how we may get out right now, and there it is. So we just take that out on Apple. So it's a win, but it's an evil laugh because we had more on this Apple trade, but we do take it off for a nice little positive win there on that name. And guess what, guys? Yes, he's back. You get that idea on CGC, and bang, to the upside right there. A smooth little win. In 2 units right there. Bang, bang. Out one of them right up here for a 30-cent winner. So that's not bad on a 50-cent stock or $15 stock. Let's keep going to the top side here. Maybe I would park an order around this little garbage here. $15.75. We'll get out a little bit on this one. But look, another winner here for Weed Batman. Let's get going, guys.
Yeah, and just got a little bit out there in that Carnival. It bounced off that bottom. We got 18s to the long side. We're going to start taking out once it breaks 30 each time. We'll work it over to VWAP. I can tell you, Intel, of course, we had that long position. That's going to go not to the moon, but I think once we get through this VWAP here, and we want to test that 54, we already took off a nice 40-cent win for the first third there. The other position we have on, and I'm going to tell you, running into a bit of resistance on ACB here, Sean. I know you started looking over there at the weed space. We got a nice little ad here, almost getting bottom wick, stuck some shares there at 103. That's been our average price the entire time, 102.5. I would like to see us hold above 110. If we can do that for a while, I think we'll get a nice secondary push through that pre-market high to 122, which ultimately is where we'd like to take at least half our shares out above that 115 mark. I can't believe it's already 10 o'clock. The day flying by. Thanks to Valeria for getting us that coffee. But we're about to jump over to our good friend Brendan for happening now once we get that little thumbs up. For me, just Carnival Cruise long in the money here. 15.18, of course, Intel still at 52.77. Brendan Wickens at the big screen for happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, we'll have a look at some individual markets so far this morning, 30 minutes in a book on Friday. So here we go, big time negative numbers right across the board again. We were mentioning S&P now 3.5% to the downside. Same story with the Dow leading back to the downside, 4+% in negative territory. Tech stocks also struggling today, 3+% for the NASDAQ back in the red. Same story for small caps, 4.3% for the Russell back to the downside. Here in Toronto, 4.7% for the TSX. Brazil struggling as well, back to the downside, about 5.6%. In negative territory. Let's have a look at some individual names. That is not the right screen whatsoever. We may have to rethink this idea a little bit, guys. But some of the names moving around here in Toronto, guys, we had cannabis names. We mentioned Hexo back to the upside again today. You can trade it here as well. Also had a look at weed and ACB, both doing quite nicely. Energy stocks, though, kind of offsetting things back in negative territory. That's the main drag so far, along with some of the banks. Guys, back over to you.
Right, yeah, and I just want to celebrate a little bit here and say to people, if you're smiling, I'm smiling, because right now, Smile Direct for the win. I've just given you guys so many trades today. I hope you're taking them with me, man. Our first Smile Direct long right here, 570. That was a good one. Then we punched long again through $6. Cash it out in the teens right now. So we're holding small Smile Direct. But yes, it's been an Idea Central day today. We've taken no losers today. Microsoft, Facebook, CGC, and Apple all nicely winning today. We'll check back on CGC. We're still waiting for that one to bust through. That's been a big winner. So this is a 25-cent winner on CGC. Our Facebook trade, guys, that one, $2.50 winner. And right now, Smile Direct, we're long right here. We're flat right now, but we've cashed out of 80% of our Smile Direct Club. So we're going to wait to see if this one wants to take off 620 now. If not, maybe we'll get back out somewhere, maybe 580 if it does break back down. But look, guys, it's been a banger day. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope everything's okay. I mean, our production today is a little bit different than normal. Obviously, we are social distancing, me and Neil normally elbow length apart, but
not anymore.
Not today.
Hey, but we got to do what we got to do. It's about keeping the show live for you guys and making sure that we bring you the markets and bring you the trades trades here. We're still working into this, working with that Intel trade. I'll zoom in so you get rid of this wick here. Once we get that breakthrough, this 53.30, that's when we're looking to take some more shares out. I don't actually have any target outs. I did mention, of course, that 54, that opening range high is going to be where we want to take out the bulk of our position if we can. Still holding on to two-thirds there. Carnival Cruise still remains at flat bottom. 15 it's trying to hold, but I'll tell you what's happening overall in the market. Not a heck of a lot of action since we retook 7,600 on the futures. So I like these long positions that we're working with here at Intel in the money, about 40 cents or so. I'm going to hang on to it. Carnival basically flat, but we've already taken some profit. I do want a reversal play in a couple other names here. One of them was going to be at some point this Facebook. It did make a nice bounce off of 155 and then came screaming back. But you could maybe use this as a nice little base. You saw it hang out there, much like Intel did. It just took a little bit longer to have any kind of a bounce. Let's see what happens if it retests 155 and holds. I might turn into a little bit of a bounce long player on Facebook. Market doesn't seem to want to flush just yet. If we hold these lows, got to have a few longs.
Yeah, I'm looking at some more Apple here, but we just continue to be pretty much rock solid here with a lot of these plays that we have on board. Our CGC is along. We're holding that one. We're waiting for 80s. Facebook is also along. I want to check out RCL. We got a lot of questions about that. Royal Caribbean coming back a little bit here, but not too much. Bouncing off that 35. This is the level that I gave to you guys a couple minutes ago. I guess it was probably when it was back about 9:38. What time is it now? Anyway, 10:04. Wow. Okay. If it breaks this 35, watch out, guys. This has been this wall here. 35.10 to the downside. I do like an RCL break of that level. Obviously, VWAP is all the way back here to 36, so there's still some room to go. A little bit of a dangerous slope here on that one, but RCL is a good one. AAL maybe here in New York. We'll check out the airlines, what they're up to. 10 million shares today, down another 8 and a bit %. Looking at 14.50 right now. AAL, no trades on that for me yet. I do like that RCL a little bit better.
John, you love the wee Batman. I don't hit it very often because I know that a lot of times will leave that space to you. But today I liked ACB in the pre-market. We got another bounce off that buck, and we keep taking it out here every time it crosses that 110 mark. So I always reload when we get down to 101, 102, maybe 103s, and then we take it out here at 110 over and over again while maintaining a core position. Because if we get through 110 to 115, we should test that high. I do love that opportunity. We now have Intel breaking through that 53.25, so that's in the money, 60 cents now. Still looking for 70 to 80, and then of course that 54 mark. Brendan, what do you got for us?
Another one from Small Cap World, guys. Barbecue Holdings. Sean, you're going to love this one. BBQ on the NASDAQ, 30% to the upside. If you like the little ones, guys, huge relative volume on this one today. We've gone from $2 up to $2.70 despite getting a downgrade. So earnings were good, but BBQ off to the races, guys.
Yeah, it is definitely. We'll pop some wheelies off here.
Symbol of the year.
It's getting closer to barbecue season, if not right now.
It already is barbecue
Yeah, we're
season.
already barbecuing at my place, so I hope you guys are as well. And yes, BBQ, just one of those other names to look at. But okay, right now, just looking at AAL again, RCL looking at that $35 range. I do like that one as well. Remember, we have Daniel Shea coming today. That should be a big guest. She's been on CNBC. We'll talk to her all about a few different names, including Microsoft, Apple, Intel, basically everything that we are trading today. We
Sean,
are ready for my neighbor, Valeria. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there we go. No, we'll throw to Valeria. Intel just got out there for 70 cents on the second third of that trade. But Valeria, what do you got?
Hey guys, how's it going so far? How's your Friday? I mean, now it's everyday kind of a Friday, but anyway, share on the live chat how you spend your time, how many books you've read already, and how many videos on our YouTube channel you're already watched and like. Guys, check out our social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find us at Trader TV Live. We have a lot of fun there, and of course check Neil's, Sean's, and Brandon's Twitter. They post a lot of very important names and information in there. And please hit the thumbs up, like our video as much as you can.
What about my Twitter?
Yeah, I said Neil's, Brandon's, and Sean's Twitter.
Okay.
First of all, follow Sean, of course. Like,
there we go.
That's for sure. And guys, hit the thumbs up, subscribe for our channel, please. We need your support. We're relatively new on the YouTube, but guys have a experience in trading more than 30 years. Right, guys? Yeah, they're born and started to do trading. Well, back to traders.
Guys, Walmart, just jump in here real quick. Walmart off to the races, up about 2% today. We just went from 108 all the way up to 112. Going to check on news on this thing, but moving to the upside in a hurry for WMT, guys.
Loving Walmart.
Yeah, I want to quickly jump in here. Good question there, Drew. I'll just handle it right here in front of the chart. We did take that long, of course, in CCL in front of that 15, even liking that base. I did take half of it out, working its way up into VWAP here. And what I was basically hoping to see is the second half. I want it all out in front of 16. That's going to be the idea. But I wanted to get that break through 15.55 and then take some out of the momentum up, maybe in the 70s, and then get it all out in 80, 88, maybe 90. It's not a trade that I'm going to load back up, despite the fact that we're taking profits. It's going to break that 15. I'm just going to hang on to it here. You could go with a break-even stop. What I could also do is maybe slide it to where this actual bottom is at 15.10 to reduce the amount of a hit that you have, because we're long at 15.18. I'm not going to do either of those things, though. We're going to keep my stop as is for the second half of the position and look to only take it out once we cross that 15.55 marker. So that's the plan over there in CCL. We did mention, of course, what we're doing in Intel. That one is now 80 cents in the money. We caught that little bottom there on Intel. It was one of those things where the market wasn't continuing that flush to the downside. We held 2,500 without really testing it on the ES. And then you look over there at the NASDAQ, same thing, 7,600 gets retaken. So we jump into Intel, which we like is a strong name. Now we're trying to run this one into that $54 range. Hopefully we can catch a quick buck on that one.
Yeah, we take also a long right here on BAC, taking a nice amount of shares right now, long Bank of America. So again, a little $20 name. We take some out right away at 53. It did get as high as 56 there, but right now we are long. I believe it's 45. Yeah, 21.45 right now long on BAC. And again, this one, we're just trying to scalp it. This is what I do on BAC, guys. Take it in and out. If we can get 5 pennies, 10 pennies, 20 pennies, we'll let a little bit run. But right now, BAC long. I like this play, guys, off the bottom of 21 even. Let's see if we can't get going, especially if this market wants to move back to the top side. I do like banks in this environment. We talked about that. Let's get elevated. Here we go. It's time to go. Pop a wheelie again. BAC for the win. Hope you guys have this one with us right now. CGC a 30-cent winner. Facebook a $2 winner. And Smile Direct just chilling out. This is where we're long on this name. But today, guys, it's been a huge day for me. Absolutely no losing stock. So let's keep this one rolling all day long. And thanks, Valeria, for the shout out on my Twitter.
Bit of a seller here at 53.50 on Intel. So we got in the money about 80 pennies here. Once we break through that, I think we'll get a lot of juice to the upside and get that target that we're looking for. It's worthwhile here that we only have about a third of our position left. I'm going to move my stop up, and we had a stop at the low of the day there since the open, at least, not the pre-market bottom, 52.65. We will move that one up here to 53 even to make sure we lock in profits. It'll do no worse than about a 25-cent win, but we're still looking to get that clean little buck. But as we move up, I like to slide my stop to the upside. Our other long positions, and let's see if we can throw this one up here. Does the position board work? I think it's going to work here as I throw it up here. Yes, there we go. ACB still long at 102. That's at 109. I've been taking it off when it hits that 10% profit range and looking to hold the core position. Been holding over half of it the whole way. CCL Carnival Cruise, we still have at 15.18. That's still in the money, 25 cents, looking to get the rest out above VWAP. And of course, Intel trying to bust that 53.50 as we have this one long at 52.72. That's in the money, about 80 cents or so. So the longs are in. The market's now down 2.5% on the NASDAQ and the ES, basically the same thing. Bit of a rebound here after that sell-off, but not a lot of juice to it. It does feel like these longs could explode if you get some of these levels taken out there, Sean.
Yeah, I don't even really have any targets here for Facebook. I've just been noticing I've been in this one forever and ever and ever. So we're going to wait to see here. We still are short. It's $2 in the money. My target out, though, will be right about here. I'm going to give this one a lot of room, 156.40 right now. We are short Facebook. It's the only short that we have on right now, and it's $2 in the money. But I need some more trading ideas, just like all of you do as well. So why don't we throw it over right now to Brendan Wickens at the big screen, guys.
Hey guys, yeah, we'll have a look at some upgrades and downgrades. Pretty negative right across the board, despite a few of these having upgrades today. Applied Materials, Boeing, Home Depot, and Qualcomm all in negative territory. Boeing coming off 3 big days to the upside, back to negative territory here, about 9.5%. American Airlines getting downgraded today, 8% to the downside. Going to have a look at Caterpillar in a second. JP Morgan, interesting, down about 5% today. Some of the banks really weak, but also catching a downgrade. And Signet Jewelers, one we were not only trading yesterday, but talking about a lot. Yeah, here we go. Home Depot in negative territory. Not a huge move here. Tight little range, 192. I mean, it's Home Depot. 192 down to about 185. Holding below yesterday's close up here, about 195. Watch that level if we do get going back to the upside. Caterpillar, yeah, big time negativity, unfortunately. Not a lot to look at until you get down to 104. I think kind of left the cursor here just saying we get below 104 might be an idea. Otherwise, you got to wait for 107 all the way back up here to 110.50 where it closed yesterday to look at some upgrades and downgrades. Back over to you guys.
Thanks a lot there, Brendan. One of the names that was on that little board there, we haven't really had too deep of a look at Boeing here, and you can see, we'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see a little bit better, traveling all the way through that 170 mark, holding out pretty well when it pulled back, and then a big time flush, 10%, almost to the bottom. It just rebounded and then failed at 164. And as these futures have all kinds of trouble getting anywhere off this bottom, more than 20 or 30 handles on the ES, you got to look for some breakout potential. I think Boeing here through 164 could be a nice little play. Of course, if you like to play it both ways, you could certainly short it in this range, risk about $1, reverse to the long side and think you catch a little bit of a breakout. But I'm going to get that 164 ready, locked and loaded to go there, Sean.
Okay, good. And we're looking in here for CGC right now as well. That one makes a nice little move back down. Okay, I'll give up a little bit here. We'll put another order right here at 48 and hopefully get taken out right now. And let's go. Come on, 48s. We are long right now at 21 on CGC, and bang, there it is. So we're back here on the weed names, guys. It's been a great day for these ones. We get out there at 48. That's a nice little 20-plus penny winner. Now we'll hold the last third here. We're still up 1.72%. We know it can get back to 16. So we're going to wait for that play on board right now. The other one we have on is Smile Direct. We're long 605 as this one making new day highs right now. 605 long Smile Direct. Facebook short right now, that's a $2 winner in the money. CGC is a 20 penny winner right now. And Bank of America right now. Wow, here we go, guys. Wow, this just keeps getting better and better and better. I keep hitting all these winners today, guys. Apple, BAC, CGC, Facebook, Microsoft, SDC. Check the markets below there. You'll see our profits. You'll see what we're doing. I'm not beside Neil. I have no idea what he's doing. I'm sure it's been a successful day, though.
I'm going to hit this one, Sean, because we may not have we missed opening day, but you can put it on the board. We got that Intel dollar. We talked about the structure of this trade, got all of our targets in succession, basically exactly as we laid it out here. Every once in a while, it's going to happen to you, and we love it when it does. I just also triggered into that Boeing long. We're going to jump to that side here, and again, if we can get any kind of move up in the futures, Boeing just has so much room to run. I know a couple of you guys were asking about that Carnival Cruise. Look, it's holding out pretty well. I could have reloaded here. I told you the reasons why I wasn't going to reload into this position, given the weakness it had relatively. I like to add to the long side, maybe in some other names when I see this. But if we, like I said, if we get through this 1560, we're long at 1518. That's when we'll look to start to take the second half of this one off. I don't have any specific targets other than looking at that 16 top, and it was a cliff when we opened up here. I'll probably look to take a lot of this off in front of that price. ACB holding that 109, 110 range. I'm only adding to it down at 101, 102, maybe 03s, and then I'm aggressively getting out only above that 110 mark.
Okay, just looking here at some of our partners here doing some social work and providing some nice donations. I'm going to get that link to you guys in a minute.
Awesome.
Okay, here comes Facebook. Guys, again, we are short right now, and I don't know why the position board's not working, but we are short Facebook, 157.67. So here we go. This is a $2 winner, but we're not taking it. We want more on that one than this. Our CGC, though, comes right back down. Bang, bang. Great little trade taken there. Nicely taken off the top. 1/3 out. We're going to drop the other third if it does break down below here. 15.14. Again, we'll scratch the last third if it does happen, but put in our pocket all of these profits. That's how I trade, and right now today it's been a good one for us. We did get out of a lot of our BAC again up here as it breaks through 60. It goes all the way to 70 there, but we don't do it. Yeah, I'll just keep trying, Rob. I keep updating it and it's not working. So yeah, it's been a good day, guys, today. Only 10:17. Guest Daniel Shea coming up at 11:20 with Brendan, so that should be fun. Get ready for that. You can ask some questions here in the YouTube chat as well, guys.
Absolutely, and just a quick look over that BAC. We do have a stop all the way at 160, and again, you know, it's a $160 stock. A lot of times you think, okay, well, you risk a couple of bucks there to make 4 or 5. This is a different type of play here. You're looking for the market to rebound. You got to give it a little bit more room here. You get the breakout. Now we've established a range. I was looking at 160, but now that we established a range down to 161, I might actually see if we can hold this level, and I would move my stop up, adding to the position and getting a better price. So that's what I'm working with here over in BAC. Boeing, not BAC, but we are still working with Carnival Cruise, and we want to keep in tune with what's going on in ACB. Here's where we can adjust our strategy. The longer that we hold this top, I've only been adding on these little dips. At some point, if we hold long enough at this 108, 109 range and break 110, it might start to be that is the bottom that we can work off of and move our stop to the upside and start adding in the higher end of the range here for a potential breakout. Brendan, what do you got?
Ford, guys, we were talking about Ford a little bit earlier in the week, had some news moving it to the upside, but continuing its move back down. So you can see 1, 2, now 3 days back to the downside. Bounced off 5 earlier. Looks like we're going to come back down and test 5 again. Volume, though, decently high for Ford again today, guys.
Ford, okay, we can have a look at Ford for sure for you guys here today. 505, yeah, 26 million shares. Big volume day for Ford. Looks a little bit better. Some of the level 2s here don't look so bad as far as too many quotes on here, so you can get that one down to 492. I don't know, we're still kind of stuck in the middle here. I'd rather trade these kind of stocks if we are near or close to highs. Smile Direct comes out, breaking through 570. That's okay. I sort of noticed something was up, so we were able to get some out there at 587. Then it breaks all the way back down there, and we get out for flat. So Smile Direct, we'll go evil laugh. We did make some money on this name, and there we go back down. We love that Smile Direct play. I'm hoping it can fade back into this $5 range. I think it's a good pick up for long term. CGC's coming back down. We do have that out, going to hit right now at 514. With the market falling, though, it looks like our short right now on Facebook, it's still hovering here. I'm really hoping that this would do something. It's stuck in this range, which is why I actually like it even better if it fades back down. Maybe we'll take some more short at 1530 here on Facebook, but right now it's a $2.40 winner.
Yeah, speaking of market sliding back down and again not breaking anywhere off of that 2500 or 2510 level on the ES, Beyond Meat not giving any real pullback. You see it fail a couple of times here at 65, 70, 66 area. So I'm going to jump back into the short here. I was just looking to maybe add to that. I mentioned in Boeing there, if it held at 161, I'd move my stop up and maybe look to add. I did move the stop, but was unable to get any shares. I will try to do that now around that 162 mark. So got a couple of longs, and we've had ACB all day long, but we can throw the position board just to update you guys on what we're now working with. Throw it up here. We do have the long, of course, in ACB. That's still at 102. And that's the only place I really want to be adding. Our Boeing long here is just at 163 and change. Also Beyond Meat, we just jumped into it. I want to add to this, but we have 65.21 to the short side. I want to add in the 50s or 60s if we can. And Carnival still have that second half at 15.18. But it is time for the big screen and Brendan Wickens with our small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, a couple of movers, big time movers in small cap world today. I want to start with this MFA. We were mentioning this a little bit yesterday. Had a huge flush down a couple of days back when they said they weren't going to be able to make a margin call, and then big move up, and now we're coming back to the downside. So decent volume in the pre-market here. There wasn't a lot as far as levels. I mean, bit of congestion around this 250 area yesterday afternoon. We actually tested it in the pre-market. Gave you this nice consolidation though heading into the open. Love those ones that are gapping to the upside, consolidating below a high in the pre-market, where you can use that as your ultimate out if you're wrong, obviously, at the open. It gets back above 240, 250. Going to be wrong on this trade, but not so much on this day. 20 or 230, depending on how you got into this. 225 to 230 was pretty easy, all the way down to 190 and then 180. Look at this thing now. I mean, this thing got me at break even, and now we're all the way down to 150, so go figure. But MFA was probably the most obvious one today. If I can shift over, there was one other. Yeah, I was going to look at that BKYI, but my screen not cooperating. BKYI, been a mess. Tried it long, tried it short. It's kind of chopping around, still halting every other minute. So BKYI, I think ultimately, eventually it comes back to the downside, but it is showing a little bit of strength. Guys, back over to you.
Absolutely fantastic call there on BKY. I can tell you it has halted once again just 4 minutes ago, and looks like it'll resume in about a minute. I got away from this one because I got a nice win in the pre-market, and then after that just got chopped up on the last quarter of my position multiple times there on those reopens. So, it's halted 1, 2, 3, 4 times now. It looks like it's the 5th, but it is back below that $2 range. And I'm with you, Brendan, in that what I see here is something that is looking like it wants to flush at some point. I think we have a decent shot. Maybe you're looking at breaking down below 175. Either that or just use this 230 as a bit of an out here, and you can maybe reverse to the long side. But it looks like there's a nice opportunity in this to build a position that you feel you confidently can hold on to. Not get wicked out because it's up 250%. It hasn't had more juice to the upside. It continuously halts because of a lack of liquidity going on there. I think there's a breakdown in this name to be had. Let's see if we can't catch it on this reopen. Maybe build a small position that we gradually build into using that 230 area, Brendan. Nope, sorry, no, we're not going back.
Okay, I thought, you did say Brendan there, but maybe you meant me. So we'll come back in right now. We'll check in on our BAC trade. We are now punching this one directly in the face as well. We still have about 20% or so of our BAC trade on. We did go long here, 21.44 on this little break right now, and a bang right to the upside, a nice little 25-cent win right now for BAC. I will be taking some off right now on this name, so if you guys are in it with me, this may be a good spot to go right here, BAC. Oh, I did want to talk about Microsoft as well today. If we do take out this bottom, 149.25, this guy will be involved with that one. I also do like the top side taking out, but it has to get all the way back up here, 152.25. It looks like we're coming south side here on Microsoft, which has been weak today, man. Down 4+%. Facebook continuing to go down. We are going to have to take out some of our BAC, but Microsoft is what I'm working with right now.
Yeah, absolutely a good look there. I just want to let you guys know we did get into some shares of that BKYI. I'll try to make sure I get that right every single time. Just starting at 183, and I want to be nimble with this trade. You got to give it a bit of room, and it keeps on halting. Ultimately, I want to be positioned short on a flush. If it can take out that 175, I want to make sure I can get some shares at 2, maybe even 220 or so. There's just so much room for it to come back down that I don't want to be left at the sidelines here. It hasn't had that juice to get through the upside. You just have to watch to make sure that 175 area does not hold too strongly and you're caught off guard. But Brendan, now what do you have for us, buddy?
Small cap, another one to mention here, guys. Software solutions company, 8x8 moving, just broke 17 on huge volume here. Nice run up though from 1580. We're up to about 17.5. They also have developed and are now sending out for sales a video conferencing type of package and solution. So obviously Zoom has been the main one, but this is another name, 8x8, moving into that space, guys.
Okay, we're trying to get some more Microsoft here on the short. We did tick down to the very bottom here. You can see by the layouts right now, this little purple, I guess. I hope that looks like that on your screen as well. We're trying to make these look a little bit different for you. 149 and change on that break. Here we're going to average in a little bit more to some Microsoft and then use this 150.50 right here as our out. So we're not going to average in until the cows come home, but we will wait to see. There we go. Taking another little average in there now. Our average spot right now, 149.40 on Microsoft. Again, we were trying to get our position board to work, but right now I'm short Microsoft, 149.40, and long BAC for the win right now, 21.45 on BAC, guys.
Yeah, BKYI, we did add some more to this position. Like I said, I want to be nimble in front of this too in that 230 area. So we have about a 190 short of 189. You can see there on the board. I would like to, maybe build it a little bit, but let's do it slowly this time. Loading up in the pre-market is a tricky thing to do. That's why you take a lot of the profits out. But now that it's really settling in here, and like Brendan mentioned, just looking rather weak, I think we want to be able to take advantage of it. That's why we talk about that short. We're still in the same position here in Carnival Cruise, which it can't seem to get going, and it's hard to feel bullish about this break through VWAP here if it keeps on having a lack of direction. I think one thing we could do certainly is move our stop, upside of this 1530. You're not gonna have as much in terms of room to allow this along to work. What you can do there is maybe add to the position so that if it does go, you make a bit more money with that tighter stop. So I kind of like that premise. I do have a couple of shorts and a couple of longs, and it's a good time to update you guys on what we're working with. My position board seems to be working, so we will throw it up, go over the 5 positions we have now. Long ACB at 102 still. That's going to hold the money for us, but every time it gets down to 3, we're going to add. Boeing, we had this one at 163. It's just down at 162. We have our stop there at 161. BKYI working into this 189 to the short side. Beyond short at 65. That's in front of 66 even. And then, of course, Carnival still holding out this 15, 18 long, which I think I'm going to start adding to in the 40s with a tighter stop there. So that's going to be the overall plan. Just a few adjustments to be made as we're sort of consolidating here in the futures.
Okay, and yeah, good little look there. Who had this RCL trade here breaking through 35? I gave that to you guys numerous times. I hope those of you had it, and if you did, congratulations. I'm trying to find a fireworks here because hopefully, there we go, throw some cash around. Hopefully you're able to make a little bit of money on that move there. We talked about RCL. I know some of you guys were asking about that on the chat there, so there you go. Short at 35 would have given you a clean 30 cents or so. We're making its way back up. I'm going to look to see possibly going long through 35 right now. Right now, it's long BAC, 25 cents in the money, and short Microsoft as we throw to Brendan.
A little shipping company, penny stock, moving up on big time volume here. Just wanted to pop this one out there for anyone looking at penny stocks. 11% here for SHIP. No significant news. Looks like it was halted once already as well, but huge volume spikes coming into SHIP, guys, on the NASDAQ.
So yeah, there's always these container companies here that want to move. Oh, it's only 19 cents. Come on, Brandon. Oh wow, RCL breaks all the way back up. Yeah, SHIP, if you like that one, big move there, 14 to 19 cents. I don't trade some of those names, but that's a good mover for sure. RCL, wow, we just talked about that one, and then I said maybe it might be a good long through 35. I didn't even have a chance to put my orders in for that one, but yeah, RCL breaks through 35 and rips right to 35.20 or so before coming all the way back down. Look at the spread, guys. This is 10 cents when it's moving around, so it can be very dangerous to trade this name. But here comes Softy coming right back down, so nice little move here. Come on, chart, switch up. There we go. Microsoft, we averaged in at 149.80 off this bottom. This was a horrible trade there. We did take the bottom out there as the futures broke below 25.20, but now we need this to keep continuing to the downside. Our average price on Microsoft right now 149.37, but we got a decent amount of shares, so would really love for this one to come in soon. And that's basically all that we have on. BAC long, 25-cent winner. I've already taken the majority of that one out, as you guys can see to the top right there. Look at that out. 21.70. Bang, in there and just out, all the way up. We start scalping. That's how we normally do it, guys. Nice little winner on BAC.
Speaking of coming back in, some of the shorts are coming back in, but that also means that long that we just put on Boeing is going to be flushed out at 161. It does mean, however, in Beyond Meat, again, I wasn't able to add in front of 65 at 65.60, but if it's going to base out and the futures are going to hold lower and show some weakness, we might have to get more aggressive with our entry. We do have 21s long. We can maybe add at that particular price. That BKYI is actually starting to work for us to the short side as well. I do believe, Brendan, you got something for us there, bud?
Yeah, guys, in that MFA, we're talking about MFA, that little mortgage REIT moving around over the past couple of days. This one also in that group, TCRD, little tiny capital company, just broke $3. Mentioned this one earlier when it halted to the upside. We just took out $3 immediately up to $3.75. So TCRD, 85% today, guys.
TCRD, okay. I want to definitely have a look at that. I'm seeing Gilead at the top of my board here. GILD over here in NASDAQ, making a nice little move all the way to 75 and change here before falling right back down. And now kind of making a bottom right on this VWAP. 73.77, definitely something to look into right now. 73.90, 73 and change coming straight down. And it's actually interesting, Brendan, that you talked about Canada, changing that interest rate here. Obviously not much happening, and I know that there's a lot of talk right now as I see VP Pence talking right now, the coronavirus king apparently. Not doing much for small businesses here in Canada, and they may be left dry on this whole, lowering interest rates. What does that do? That's good for the consumer, those of you that have mortgages, but here in Canada right now, the government is providing loans, easier access to capital for companies. That's great, but if you get a loan and you can't repay the loan because there is no business, that's going to be a little bit of an extended problem here. I'm worried about the commercial real estate spot here in Canada as well. Do you guys have any opinions on any of that?
Yeah, Sean, you make a really, really good point there. I mean, you talk about that $17 billion that we got here in Canada, at least we're speaking, and most of it, going to the individuals, which is fantastic. Get that economy going, get money in their hands. But what happens if you're a small business? And look, one of the provisions, you pay 90, give 10% relief on any kind of salaries that you're paying out and wages. If you can afford to pay 90% of your payroll, you can also afford to pay 100%. How much relief is that really? Rents are sky high, certainly here in Toronto. What happens when all these businesses essentially fail? What's going to happen is you're going to get lower rents, you're going to get lower cost of entry. If you're poised for that one, be able to pick up a lot of property, you have a lot of business that'll be ready to go. I think it's going to be an interesting market for people that have the entrepreneurial spirit if we get a lot of failures that possibly could happen, at least here in Toronto, Sean.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the thing. Like, they're going to only cover their 10% of the
right?
payroll. I mean, that's kind of a joke. Up to $25,000. That's great for some small businesses, but you still got to fork out that 90%. Most restaurants closed. Most small businesses closed. Right now, nobody's on the streets here. So, yeah, that's the little take there here in Canada on obviously coming today and lowering interest rates on mortgages and things like that. I mean, look, that's not going to help anybody. You got to still refinance. A lot of people even locked into fixed rates now anyways. So I'm not even sure how that's going to go. But Brendan, what's up, bud?
Yeah, 10% up to $25,000. I think if you can afford to pay that, then you can afford to pay the rest of your payroll on a monthly basis. It's an interesting concept, though. I mean, you get $20,000+ rents here in Toronto for little teeny tiny, retail spaces. That gets maybe slashed in half or even more because there's less demand. Obviously, we get a little bit of a reset of the state of affairs, I guess you could say. I want to talk about WW International here as well, guys. Moving to the downside, if you're looking for weakness, 11.5% today. Big flush out. Morgan Stanley did upgrade this thing today, but huge flush out anyways. $17 down to about 14.5. It looks like we got to for WW, guys.
Certainly a good look there, and I want to show you the adjustment that we made on Carnival Cruise. For those of you who are following along there, you move and add some shares and get an average price of $15.30, then use that as a break-even stop. So as it felt like it was a lower probability we're going to get the breakout, what we're able to do is basically take that second half, move it to a break-even type trade instead of taking a hit all the way if it breaks the low of the day, and then give yourself more upside in the case, which I thought was a lower percentage, that it would move up. We move our exposure up without necessarily risking more because that stop moved up. You get that break even out, so you win on the first half, you're break even on the second half. However, if it did work, you'd have more upside. We also got our second entry there in Beyond Meat at 65. I'd like to again still add it to 65 half mark if we can. Haven't been able to get any shares up there in front of 66. Even another name that we kind of are going back and forth with, and that's going to be this BKYI. I've been adding in this little consolidation that you're seeing here between 175 and that $2 mark. So I talked about wanting to be exposed to the short if this one flushed. Like you said, Brendan, I think it's got a decent shot to do that. 230 is really the best level here as well, so it might take a few cracks at this. That's where we're trying to stay at least a little bit nimble on BKYI.
I did want to give you guys back to Gilead here. I did talk about that before we went on that rant there. 73.35. This is that little wick it went all the way down to. If we can get back down to that level, I think that should be a good one. There's a lot of trades happening in this area. 73.70 to 73.40. So if we can break down below, and then this is the little level that I'm focused on here, 73 and teens. The bottom basically 73 even. So if we can break down below right now, I think that's legit. And then we can always hold it back until here, 75. So I'm going to look for Gilead to go downside here as we rock and roll right now. The biggest position I have on, unfortunately, is 60 cents out right now, and that's Microsoft. It did tick as high as 150.50 there, 150.46. My out was going to be right here, so we teetered close to getting punched out of that one, but we will wait to see here. Hopefully we can come back down. Got myself in trouble bottom picking here. Microsoft has been weak. I've noticed that the last couple days, and we got stuck right now. So unfortunately I had to average in, and now we'll wait to see. It's comfortable. I'm comfortable with it. We've made a lot of money on on Microsoft over the past couple days. So we'll hold this one and see if our read is right. If it's not, though, look for a 51 break to go long. So we'll dump our shares if we break 50, and we'll wait to see if it has any true momentum going long through 151. Brendan.
Another one that caught an upgrade today, guys. We were talking a little bit about the airlines in the pre-market. If you joined us, 170 up here on Boeing. Pretty good opportunity. We went all the way down to 155, looking like it might want to break again to the downside. Boeing back in negative territory today, guys, by 10.5%.
Good look there, Brendan. A name that I thought was going to be strong, and we did have a fantastic trade on. It's going to be an Intel, but look at it right here, back towards that 53 mark. 52.65 held pretty well. That's where we based our first long. But just want to see what happens. If we can hold 53, maybe break back to the upside. Again, we're just channeling in a 30 handle range, very tight-ish range here, 30 handles on the ES. It's just not a heck of a lot. If we can hold this, and we're about to test 53 right now on Intel, but if we can hold this, I do like the opportunity to go long, build something in below VWAP here, you catch that break, and maybe we'll retest that 54 in any kind of a bounce. And again, I'm sort of trying to poise myself for a breakout in the futures in either direction. You're able to trim off some of your losses and hold on to those wins. We did load back up, and a nice little entry there on ACB. We've been taking this one all morning long, only adding to it when it dips down to our target range, 102s and 103s. Not going to get overly aggressive because it hasn't given us more than 10%. So we'll make sure we work this one out and continue to take those profits. I still want to see us bounce through 110, hold higher, and see if we can make a move to that 120. So I will always have something on until one even breaks. I'm going to be long in this one all day long. It doesn't really matter. That BKYI we're still working the short trade on. That's still at 190. That's basically our price here. 188.5. Like I said, we're just building a position. Not going to add to it anymore yet unless we break above this 195 mark, and then we'll patiently wait for maybe 205 or so. If it breaks down 175, that's a great place as well, Sean.
Yeah, it sure is there. I'm still focused on this Microsoft as we look here. 150, it just keeps bouncing off this 150 level, really pissing me off here, but we will wait to see if it can break down below 150. That should be good. We are going to look to take a little bit off here if it does get near 150 once again. I don't know. I mean, I'm playing this game with the futures here. And as you can see, the ES, these are the E minis here. So the S&P 500, you can see, like Neil just mentioned there, we're stuck in a little bit of a range right now. We go upside off the open, just before the open, then come crashing down. Now we've made a little move, and now we're just kind of hovering here, not doing a whole hell of a lot. So Microsoft, it looks like it's going to stay strong and probably break right now this 150.50. So we will be out of that one if that does happen. I did want to check back before we throw it again over to Disney. If Disney could take out this bottom right here, 98.30, I am going to go short. I did see some people asking about Disney, still down 7%. Not a great little look for them as the virus continues to get worse and worse. Obviously, people are going to be staying at home here. Not great for the theme parks, and I know that their movies have been delayed and or postponed right now on the making of some of that. So Microsoft's in trouble right now. It's going to get punched out, guys.
Yeah, and just looking at here, talking about Tesla there, Valeria, we were mentioning consolidation. We're mentioning the tight range in the futures. Look at Tesla in a $4 range for 30 minutes. This is new territory for us here, but it sort of screams a breakout potential. You just got to make sure you don't get wicked out. If you try to breakout trade, you're probably in a world of trouble here if you try it to the long side at 02s or so. So it needs to really extend, hold past some of these prices, and maybe pick a bit of a direction. And I think you're going to be able to dig into this one. It is down that 5% that you can see up there on the board, but ultimately right now, very, very sleepy action on a Tesla. Carnival tests the low of the day, and I talked about adjusting my strategy there, going with the tighter stop to make sure we don't get burned. Left our stop order in at 15, so when that actually broke, we ended up short, immediately getting it out, paying a little bit of spread there. But this is why we adjusted our strategy, had all kinds of trouble breaking through the top, so it was too long of a consolidation. We got more shares in to get our average price to a break-even point, and then when that happened, we got out. You could have reversed short, but it was a stock that I like to rebound potential and maybe fill in that gap. But you adjust it so you don't lose anything on the way back in, turn it into a break-even trade. Don't turn a winner into a loser. That's sort of my mantra there. That's what we're working with. Beyond meat, we still have to the south side. We're still short this one here at 65.20 or so. It's in a tight consolidation range, but my stop is up here at 66, shy of VWAP. Want to see if we can work this one towards that low of the day. Such a great short for us yesterday. I can't believe it's already 10:40. Bit of an adjustment, you guys that are tuning in a little bit late. You've noticed that we're doing some social distancing, doing our part here to make sure everyone is safe, and we bring the show to you. Sean, of course, is all the way 20 feet, 15 feet, whatever it is away from me.
Close to
Valeria in the middle.
Close to
yeah, close to all. We got the 6 to 8 feet separation, whatever it is. Put a moose in between us. That's a Canadian measurement, I think, for 2 meters. But either way, it is 10:40. Yeah, okay. Brendan Wickens has moved over to our big board, which oddly enough, I'm seeing a lot of red here, which I don't think is too much of a surprise. We're about to do our sector recap there. But for me, just a couple of shorts, and there's ACB long that we're probably going to be in, I think, for almost the rest of the day. It's absolute crazy action for me, holding that one in front of a buck there. But if we get the thumbs up, we're ready for Brendan Wickens and our sector watch.
All right, guys, let's have a look at the S&P 500. We'll check out what is moving the market. Back to the downside, unfortunately, today. 3.6% right now for the overall S&P. Pretty much everything, to be honest, in negative territory. There are a few outliers here. Ulta Beauty in the retail group, the outlier for that group. We have SYF down here in the diversified financials, up about 9% on the day. A couple other ones in the healthcare group that are positive. Want to talk about tech stocks, though. In the move back up over the past couple of days, it has been the tech group that was leading the market higher. Not today, though. Back to the downside for the overall tech sector. DXC, now MA, HPE, and HPQ among the leaders to the downside today, all 6.5% plus to the downside. In the healthcare group, there is that UHS, 6.9% to the upside. Everything else pretty much, though, about 6% or more in negative territory. So the healthcare group, both the equipment makers and the pharmaceutical sector in negative territory so far today. Communication stocks among the leaders to the downside. Have a look at Dish Network getting crushed, 4.5% today. Twitter in that group as well, 5% to the downside. Energy stocks under pressure for the third day in a row, I want to say. We showed you at the open this morning at 9 o'clock, crude oil back to the downside. So APA, Devon, NBL, OKE, all about 10% in negative territory. They had a big move up yesterday, so back to the downside, unfortunately. Here we go with industrials. You're going to find Boeing here. Just mentioned that one, now 10+% for Boeing in negative territory. SWK and TXT helping to offset some of the weakness, but overall still red as a group, but these two about 9+% each in positive territory. There's GE there. That's GE had a big move up earlier in the week. A little bit of profit taking probably coming in today. 5.75% back in negative territory. Transportation stocks, including the airlines, all red. Commercial vehicles as well, back to the downside. Overall, pretty red to wrap up the week. 3.5% for the S&P. Let's go back to Neil.
2008.
Thanks a lot there, Brendan. I did mention Intel. I wanted to see us base off of that 53, and I'd wait for us to test that level. It does. It breaks to the upside here. So going to start this position at about 53.36 or so. So we add in a couple of times. I'm willing to load up a little bit here in front of that 53. Even you're putting in a higher low. We've already made this trade one time, so you're playing with a little bit of house money. But I got to watch out for that ACB, which all morning long, you're going to sit there in front of that one even level. ACB is going to now take it out here. And again, because there's so much liquidity, I want to see what happens when it retakes it. You maybe give it a couple of pennies or so. Not going to go with a hard stop, more of a manual type of idea there. So just going to punch out of 80% of our position and see what happens. If we can hold anywhere around 97, 98 or so, I might load back in. But ACB now starting to sell off. So it's going to fall in a little bit of a hole there. And as it now seems to want to continue, you're able to take 10-cent wins off. Ultimately, we're going to end up losing 3 or 4 cents, 4.5, I think, at the worst, 3 cents on the rest of it. So overall, it's going to be a solid trade here. I wanted to see that follow through. ACB just didn't want to give it to us there. So unfortunately, we'll have to take this position off, work back into it potentially. We're not going to be done with this stock. I don't think it's the end of the day. But that little long, if we can retake one even, I might dip our toes back into it, but we're going to have to see if it bases out just a bit there. And I did mention, of course, until I wanted to be an adder to this one, it does dip back down towards 53 even. This is where we'd like to be able to dig in. So going to pick up a few more shares in front of 53, see if it retests it. I do have some shorts on in case we flush. That's going to be Beyond Meat here at 65.17 and that BKYI there, Sean.
So I just went and got another coffee. Thanks for covering that one. Microsoft, it does turn into be a little bit of a winner. We do take a long through that 150 even, 150.50, and we get out in the 80s there. So nice little small win there. I didn't want to take it back because I'm not sure if I updated you guys. We are now short Disney. We did take that one short 98.25 right now. And it's right back down to 98 even. I do like that. Through 98, and that's where we are right now, short 98.20. So we're right here on Disney. Those of you that were talking about that, again, I did talk about it a little bit with the Carnival and the Carnivals. That's Carnival Cruise Line with their theme parks now being closed, and people obviously no idea when they're going to return. This is obviously a problem for Disney. Their movies are now done. I don't even really like Disney Plus that much, but that's just my personal opinion. So I think that people will sell this name. This was $80. I picked some of this up at $80 in my own account, so I know there's a lot of this to go. I also picked some up at $100 as well. So we're going to see here 97. I think we could get to this VWAP, which will be about a 50-cent win. We'll see about cashing some out then, but I do think that we can revisit these lows, which is back to 96. So a little bit of an average in will start to happen here. If we get to 99.50, I'm going to have to get out of that one. But right now, the shorts, I don't like this choppy market. I don't know if Neil mentioned that, but in the last couple of days, man, it's been just to the races on a lot of these markets. So I think we have to tighten up our stops a little bit here and take winners when they're there because the moves just aren't as rapido as we'd like them to be.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you on that one. Is about to take out that 220 area on that BKI, so we have to get out of that short. And then I'm not going to reverse into any kind of a long position. I talked about 230 being the ultimate level on that one. So BKY continues to befuddle me, Brendan. I have no idea. Like you said, it's been a wild one. Usually do pretty well on those small caps. BKYI not going to be the case. ACB actually looks like it was probably a good out, and maybe it was even better reversal. We've been bullish on this one the entire morning, taking profits on those longs at 102, 103, out in that 110 range, but it continues to slide into negative territory below that dollar even mark. And, it's worth looking at yesterday's close, which was at 90 cents, a bit of a rally in the aftermarket up to 95. But you look at that 90-cent mark, you can see the kind of base it was when you look at yesterday's session. So let's see what happens if ACB falls another 6 or 7 pennies. I will be prepared, or at least ready, to see if we can defend that one. If it breaks below there, it's still up 8%, but man, it's really starting to come off. We thought we'd hold that $1 mark and sustain some of those gains. Certainly not the actual case there, Sean.
Roku, 86.05. Yeah, I haven't even looked at any of these small caps yet. Apple, BAC, CJC, CGC, Disney, Facebook, Microsoft, Smile Direct. I guess Smile Direct could kind of qualify as that. Roku right now, $86. I like looking at names, again, that are close to the even dollar level. Roku looks like it fits that right now, down to 86. It bounces off 83. What a strong little move back. You're seeing the futures go back here, making me nervous about my Disney position, which is still fine, though. So I don't want to get out of that one, but I am looking to maybe get in to some Roku here. Small on a little 86 even break. We will test Roku small to the long side here. $86 looks like a decent spot. My Disney, guys, I mean, I'm nervous about it, but I'm not really. We are short. See, it still sits on the Roku chart. Sorry about that, guys. I'm nervous about it because it can move up here, but I'm not sure why it's not. And that's why I like it. Look at the futures here, moving up 7, 8, 10 handles here. And Disney kind of just still chilling out in this range. Might be a good spot to average in to Disney right now, but it could take off if I'm wrong. So a little nervous. Maybe we're just going to hold Disney. We're at flat right now. We're going to watch that one. I'm going to put in a trade to see if Roku wants to go long or softy through 151. I do like that one as well, guys.
Good look there, Brendan. Sean there. I did add to that intel. I talked about the target range between VWAP here and that 53. So as it dipped back down, we do have our stop at 53. We managed to get our first entry for about 25% of the position at 53.30 or so. Then we work into it in the bottom and middle end of this range. If we can seem to hold this one, we do have 53.24 to the long side. It's just that. And beyond meat, we're sort of hanging on for dear life at 66. One long, one short. Modern, good look on that BKYI. I did not reverse, of course, waiting to that 220. I was looking at 230 as a potential area for a breakout. So watch out for maybe resistance at that price area. The futures just do not want to get going. But I do believe it is 10:50, and it's time to talk a little bit about some crypto and some currency with Brendan Wickens at the big screen. Time for Money Talks.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just tweeting this out. We do have Trader Danielle coming, at Trader Danielle coming through right now, very, very soon here on the show. And I'm just looking at this Disney spot here, trying to get this to go. We could have just taken 20 cents. It did go down to 98, but we did not. And I think that's fine. I do not have a problem not taking that one. Would have liked it to get to there, breaking through 98. Not sure if that is going to happen or not, but looking to average in a little bit here in the 70s if I can, and then look for a blowout, unfortunately, up here, 99.25 if that does happen. But we're just trying to average into a few of these shorts. It should be good right now. We apologize if you guys did miss sound on that last segment with Brendan, but he is going to be back with us very shortly. We can redo that if that was a problem, but I think it's probably okay for now. Follow us on Twitter, myself, Brendan, everybody, the show. I'm tweeting something out right now, so you can join us. Trader Danielle, as I just mentioned, Danielle Shea will be on very soon at 11:20 our time, so that should be coming up with Brendan over there at the big desk. We'll be asking her a whole bunch of different questions here, but
Sean,
okay.
That should be a really, really good look there. I want to go back to GameStop, and I'm absolutely kicking myself for not just being aggressive in front of that 5 even. Now we're riding the lows here. Greg, you've been all over this one. I don't know if you're still in the chat here, but you've been all over this short side. What a great short it was. It's actually back to almost flat on the day here. 441 was yesterday's close. It had that nice gain through $5 in the pre-market, and we're back to the bottom. So big time movement to the downside. I want to jump over to my Intel position. I did tell you guys how we're going to structure this one. So we're back to the top end of the range here. Long at 53.24. Easy stop at 53 even. Look, once it breaks upside, past this 53.40 mark, that's when we can look to start taking some profit off on the way to 54 even. And Modern, there goes your opening in BKYI to the upside, approaching that high of the day, now up 330%. This one looks like it's about to go parabolic there. Massive, massive move. Good look at that 191. I will go catapult action for your neck because it must be absolutely booming there. Great look. 250 break coming up. I'm taking that one.
Yeah, here goes to 250 right now, BKYI. Shout out right here to Panther B Squad there, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a wink here. This is scary. Don't watch this if you don't like it, but there you go. What's up to Bear in there? Good job today. Give your mother some help as you are isolated right now, probably driving her crazy, and say what's up to your sister as well. Okay, BAC right now, we still are long. I keep forgetting about this one. We still have this long, 21.44. It's never come back down. Could have reloaded here at 21.40, probably should have, but no matter what right now, let's hope to see here. Actually, I just found kind of a cool logo here, hamster wheel. This is what I feel like right now with some of these stocks. It feels like we're just running around here waiting for something to break, and it just does not look like it's breaking right now, anything. BAC a little bit in trouble there. We do average into our Disney trade. This is exactly what we wanted on this 98.70 there. What was the price exactly? Yeah, 98.70. So we are averaged into this trade now. Our average price now 98.32 on Disney. So now when it comes down a little bit more, hopefully we'll have a little bit of a bigger winner on this one. We'll probably get some out for flat and then see if we can't organize the rest on the downside here. I'm still hoping this thing breaks 98. I do like that as a chance. But what's up, Brendan?
SIEN, guys, a little mover here. Another one back in the small cap group. $2 up to about $2.75. A couple of upgrades on this one today. 13.5% though. Just getting a pullback. I was kind of looking at this level here. 260 was a bit of resistance on the way up, but big time volume when that finally broke. So we'll see what happens once we get back to 260. SIEN doing some volume, guys.
Good look there, Brendan. And I was just looking at United, and we talk about this ridiculous consolidation anywhere and everywhere. It's the same thing. I'm looking for a breakdown in this one, potentially through 32.75. But as that does not happen, I'll get you back over to review our long trade over in Intel and our short that we still have on and Beyond Meat. And I've been shorting that one for a couple of days now. We just took our first leg off in front of 53.50. Of course, we got that 52.25 long, and I like the scalp. Sean talks about those quarters. Not a bad base there to take profit. If it breaks that 50 mark, we'll certainly look at this one through there. Maybe take some out at 54. Maybe get some out in front of that peak. Last time we got out at 72, that was the top end of the move. I think we'll maybe hang on to at least 40% of the position to see if we can't get further than that. So that's the plan over on Intel. Of course, right now Beyond Meat, which we're still short at 65.30 in front of that 66. Thinking there can be some room to the downside, but with this market as sleepy as it is, just not making any kind of movement. It held 66, which is good. And when it did that, we added back, and we added to this position on the way back down to take our last quarter of the position finally. But we need this one to break 65 and start taking some profit off as it works its way down to the bottom. It's held up at the low here, showing some nice weakness. We'll see if we can't take advantage of that. It is what it is, guys. We've been hanging on to Beyond Meat here for over an hour. It hasn't broken up, which is good, but I need to see some acceleration to the downside here. We're sitting with long and short in the market right now.
Yeah, we are getting ready right now for the trade of the day as well. Good look on Beyond Meat there. I actually haven't even been looking at it today. 66, a nice little wall there. That should be a good one. Okay, Disney, we did take that average down here, 98.70. I put a bid here to get out for a little bit, 98.40. We did get out of 20% there. So now our average price is still right here, 98.35. So that was basically a wash right there for us on Disney. Now we're going to wait. Again, I'm taking a little bit too much risk. I will keep averaging, and if we do come up here, I think this name has to fall today, down 6 and a little bit percent. You can see the dramatic drop here off the open, $100 all the way down to 95, makes its move back up. I still believe in this stock falling back down at least to VWAP, which is 97.85. I think we can get that for sure on Disney, and that's really the one that I'm sort of in on right now. My BAC is all the way back, so we'll, I have about 10% of this position left. I'm going to put some orders back here at 60, but like I said, right now we're trying to dodge some bullets here as this market is kind of putting everybody to sleep, I feel like right now. Check out the ES, bounce around here, not much happening on that one. So right now I'm just kind of hands off, looking for some more opportunities. So thank you guys, keep joining us in on the chat. This show means a lot to us, and I know it means a lot to you viewers as well. So keep it going here. We're here for you, discussing any stocks you guys want. Doesn't just have to be in North America. We talked about Canada today, some of those bags. We talked about some of the weed names can be interlisted as well. So keep looking to trade some of those names with us, guys, as BAC just hovering around right here.
Yeah, and moving to the upside at least. The market's not going like you said, Sean, but moving back to the upside, bouncing off of VWAP once again. Intel here. We do have that 53.20. It was 24 long. You can see us now at 21 as an average price, of course. We got a blend on the way in, and we'll sort of get a few stops to the outside there. There is another one. We'll go floss action for you there at 54. So take a quick 30 cents on that scalp. About 60% of our position is going to be left on. And I will take one more leg back where we got out at 53.70. And after that, I'm looking for a break to the top. We want to be positioned well in Intel if the market moves to the upside. And of course, if the market breaks out downside, we've got Beyond Meat to the short side there. With decent stops there, I think we have relative strength and relative weakness in a couple of names that we like. But it's 11 o'clock. And if you follow along every single day, you know that this is the time that we do our European update. So let's go to the big screen and Valeria.
Hey guys, welcome to the European update. Well, Europe is in 50 shades of red today. Britain is down 6.63%. Germany is down 4.14%. France is down 5.26%, and Russia is down 6.25%. Well, some quick news from Europe. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been tested positive with the coronavirus. He is now self-isolated, but as he says, he is still leading the government via video conference. Ferrari announced that it will postpone the shutdown of 2 of its plants in Italy until April the 14th. That's all for now, and I'll keep you updated. Back to Brandon.
All right, 11 o'clock. Let's jump into trade of the day here. We're going to have a look at one of the trades that either Neil or Sean took throughout the morning, do a bit of a review, talk about how we were looking at the stock and why and some of the levels, and from an execution standpoint, what the trade was all about. Neil has trade of the day today. It is on INTC, a stock that's been moving around for a better part of a week now. Let's go over to the TV. Neil's ready to go.
Thanks a lot there, Brendan. Sometimes when you look at a trade, it has more to do with the price action and your read on it throughout the entire week. I know a lot of you guys have been talking about it in the chat. Kevin was mentioning it. We had some success with it yesterday. And as the market was coming down, you saw those fantastic shorts. You know, Facebook was a great one. Sean grabbing that one. I think I had some of that as well. You saw lots of names bottoming out there. And I just looked at what was going on in Intel as the futures could not even press toward that 2,500 on the ES. We bounced shy of it. I wanted to have a long position that we could work and maybe hang on to. So we looked at what was going on in Intel. It held a very, very nice bottom, this 52.65 area here, all the way up to 53. So when I see this consolidation, it's just bouncing around back and forth. I saw the futures making a bit of a base. I wanted something to the long side. Nice little structure to give yourself a relatively tight stop. Pick a name that you know you're comfortable with in terms of both its upside potential, the levels holding out, and the chart setup. So a couple of things working for us in favor with that Intel trade. Let's jump into the first clip and start analyzing our action. A little bit of a bounce here just off of the ES is looking at that 2,500 holding out just a little bit. So I come over to an Intel, which is one that I've liked at least with a little bit of strength, and I see it basing out off of the open 52.65 or so was the bottom, and now trying to break through 53. So what I might do is just use that level, start a position on 53. At 53 here, we just got up some 06s, work it in front of that little low, maybe add if we can get a dip down. We can maybe take more if it gets up through VWAP. But yeah, a couple of things to work with here. So I like this trade. You have this little breakout at 53. I always make sure I only put on maximum, say a third of your position, maybe a quarter, something along those lines, on the breakout, because if it's going to move to the upside and make a new channel, I want this to be my entry point, and maybe we're adding through this VWAP price as it maybe holds a higher base. The other side of it, and why you don't add everything on, or at least I don't add everything on at the beginning, is because if it doesn't and fails in that breakout, I want to be adding in front of my target bottom. You want to leave some risk for you to be able to do that, and then if it breaks upward in the channel, this now becomes a profit-taking area. So I like the structure of this trade. It's one that I put on if I'm looking for a reversal in the overall market, but you got to leave yourself some room. If you just go maximum in here, you don't have a lot of flexibility, so I make sure that we don't do that. You hear me talk about that a little bit, Brendan. I always find that, to manage risk properly or to manage your trade properly, a lot of times you have to give up a little bit of upside with some of that decision making. If it goes right away and you don't have max risk on, yeah, you give some up, but it gives yourself some flexibility with the rest of the trade. Brent.
Yeah, overall, in a bit of a muted day as far as the market is concerned. Really not seeing some crazy moves out there. Nothing wrong with kind of going back to a stock, as Neil mentioned, that you maybe traded earlier in the week or even a week or so ago because you're comfortable with the levels. You've seen a stock like Intel come down to a significant level, hold in the past, and start to move away from it. So kind of the idea here on a day when there's not a lot of news, not a lot of things outside the small cap world that are moving around. Got to go back to those ones that you're familiar with from earlier. Let's go to the next clip.
And tell you Intel's looking to try to bounce off this little bottom here. Just touched 53 again, like I mentioned, 52.87 to the long side if we can get a breakthrough view off. Look at this top here in the pre-market, 54. Right at the open is what we touched. I would expect a little bit of resistance at that price if we can get the market going to the upside and continue that strength, the strong run we've had all week. I think Intel is nicely poised to run off the bottom here. I will take some out at VWAP for the quick little 40-cent scalp, and that'll be probably a third of the position.
Yeah, and basically exactly what we talked about, a third of the position for the VWAP scalp. I want to update one thing. I talked about us touching 54, and that made a bit of a target right at the open at 9:30. Another thing that we usually are going to mention is the opening range, maybe that first 5, 10, 15 minutes or so. That ended up being, essentially right here at about a 53.70 to 53.80 top. And that's going to be ultimately why when you get out in front of 54, that's where I'm looking to have that bit of an exit. I love the fact that we're testing it right now. I actually have a bit of a long position that's working out, so I can kind of celebrate that one. But look, you have to have targets on the way up. Again, if this had gone immediately to the upside, I'd be looking to add at VWAP, but it did not. It based out. You're adding at the absolute bottom. Then you got to start thinking about taking some profits for that nice little scalp at VWAP. That's that first third, that first quarter that you're working with, Brendan.
Yeah, nice little move back into that initial range as well. So, I mean, in a trade setup like this, you have a long bias. Maybe it showed strength earlier in the week, couple of days in a row, even to the upside. You're not looking for a home run. Obviously, when the market is so negative, it's really easy to kind of pick some levels from the pre-market or pick some levels that it made off of the bat and look to work out of the trade. But a nice rebound back to the upside for Intel. One more clip here, guys.
CCL. We did mention, of course, what we're doing in Intel. That one is now 80 cents in the money. We caught that little bottom there on Intel. It was one of those things where the market wasn't continuing that flush to the downside. We held 2,500 without really testing it on the ES. And then you look over there at the NASDAQ, same thing, 7,600 gets retaken as we jump into Intel, which we like is a strong name. Now we're trying to run this one into that $54 range. Hopefully we can catch a quick buck on that one. And just an update on the long that we actually have here. Just going to tell you, look, we're working this one out. I talked about our first step there. There's nothing scientific about it. We just basically picked the midpoint between the opening range and VWAP for the next leg to be out there as it stalls out. It slowed down. We caught it moving back in and then take off about a 45 cent type of scalp. As we're going to the upside here, it's basically the same structure that we end up putting on. And I want to tell you guys, look, it's almost the same thing. You see it pull back in. Once it makes a base, and I'm not doing this the first time, you could have. You could have looked at this consolidation on the way up below VWAP and said, hey, we already like that 53 even area the second time through. I allow it to make a bit of a base, and then it makes that same break, take some risk on, wait for most of it at the bottom. Exactly the same structure. You rinse and repeat. It's a little bit higher, of course, but it's the same type of stop. I just moved it up about 35 cents or so and then put the same trade on, taking it out on the way up. Actually, should have an order in front of 54. Don't, but let's see what happens here. If we can take out 54, you want to run this one to the upside, especially if the futures really start to get going, Brendan.
Which they are, indeed, moving back to the upside. So Intel, some tech stocks kind of helping the market overall kind of grind its way back to the upside. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the last clip.
I'm going to hit this one, Sean, because we may not have, we missed opening day, but you can put it on the board. We got that Intel dollar. We talked about the structure of this trade, got all of our targets in succession, basically exactly as we laid it out here. Every once in a while it's going to happen to you, and we love it when it does. I just also triggered into that Boeing long. We're going to jump to that side here. And again, if we can get any kind of move up in the futures, and I should say it right. If I'm going to channel my inner Hawk Harrelson, I should say you can put it on the board. Yes, we got that top at 53.40, 53.70, 54 we're topping out right now. I still have 40% of this position on, of course, as we break 54. So what I'm going to do here, and I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. I'm now going to slide my stop from that 53 area. We're going to move it up to about 53.50 or 53.60 to make sure we lock in some profits. But I got to go run and do that. Brendan, it was a good trade. Rinse and repeat, even better.
There we go. Yeah, a little bit of a look at Intel, obviously providing some relative strength, moving back to the upside today, even with the market kind of chopping around in a bit of a range. It is starting to try to move higher, but Intel giving Neil some opportunities on the long side today. That's your trade of the day for Friday. Back over to the guys.
Okay, yeah, I can take this over. Why not here? Microsoft, guys. I mean, look, great trade of the day right there for that, but hit the cowbells right here because Microsoft, we are long 150.69. Yeah, that's right. This is 152 right now. So this is $1.40 in the money on Softy. Oh, our Roku trade. That one's also 60 cents in the money. We go long off that 86 break, then we average back in right down here, and bang, bang, nice little win right here. BAC, a nice little win as that keeps going back upside. So right now, Microsoft in the money right now, $1.50. Roku in the money, 70 cents. But the problem was there, we did fight this Disney short. Thank God we were able to get out there of Disney. Now it's breaking back up through $100. So winner for me on my long-term account, but we do lose on Disney here going upside. We did short. Only took out a little bit here, now busting to the top side. Let's get out, man. Wow, Roku right now, 75 cents now in the money as we now take off 86 for the second time. So yeah, it's been a banger day here for me today. Check the profits at the bottom, guys. You can see it all. What a day right now, guys.
Dollar move there, right, in Intel. I talked about just a few seconds ago with the trade of the day. We still had 40% of our position on. We take a clean buck on another 20% there, literally at the top as I sat down. It broke that 54. It's going to come back in. I did move my stop order to 53.60. That's going to make sure we lock in some profits. Just make sure that we, have a nice little move to the upside. No matter what, it's going to be a winning trade. We finally get off that bottom in the future. So what I'm going to do there is I actually got rid and dumped that beyond me, which we're going to give that one like 50 to 80 cents worth of room. But when the market moves up and the long goes, you run the long up, you go tight stop and just lose 30 cents on the Beyond Meat trade. We talked about that's how we wanted to structure the long and the short. You dump the losing position rather quickly, and you hang on to that winning one. So we get the home run trade in Intel. Still have some of this. I'm going to trail it to 53.60. Hang on for dear life with the rest. I'd love to see Intel break out further. You can see now that you've taken this, I've seen this move extend and give you another buck or so. So 55 could be in play if this market continues to run here, Sean.
Yeah, nice little home runs there. And ho-hum, just another $1.20 winner right now on Roku. So if that's a home run, there we go, right here, Roku. We did just tick off $2 on Microsoft as well. And those are the positions that we have on right now. It's Roku, it's BAC. My position board not working, so we'll be able to figure that out soon, hopefully, and get back to you on all of that. But 3 for 3 right now, 3 longs. We can talk about them. Roku right down here. What a great little bottom pick that was, 84.80. We run that straight to the top side now. That's $1.50 in the money as we speak. Microsoft, we're long 150.60. That's $1.20 in the money. So this is, kind of usual suspects for me here as Roku continues, guys, to go 86.8. We're long 84.82 right now. So there you go. One trade of the day from Neil. And here's another one right here, a $2 winner on Roku. $86 name, guys. Let's keep riding that to the top side. But more time right now with Valeria. So why don't we throw it over to the big screen for In Focus, guys.
Hey guys, today I would like to talk about some companies that are offering their help during the coronavirus outbreak. For example, Dyson in 10 days designed a ventilator which supports patients who are not able to maintain their airways themselves. The company will produce 15,000 of ventilators for the UK government healthcare. LVMH company, the parent company of Christian Dior, Louis Vuitton, and Givenchy, announced that it will help French health authorities by producing hand sanitizers and providing them for free. Apple is going to donate 10 million masks to the US healthcare. The company will also donate millions of more masks to the hardest hit countries in Europe, according to the CEO, Tim Cook. Healthcare workers who are fighting against the coronavirus can get a free tall brewed or iced coffee at Starbucks until May 3rd. Crocs announced its plan to donate 10,000 of its shoes daily to health workers who are fighting with the coronavirus. Some European brewers like Verdant, Brewdog, and Leith Gin are using their production facilities to produce hand sanitizers that are very rare in many countries right now due to a massive demand. Well, guys, many more companies are now being very supportive and helpful, and I wish that all to you too, to be supportive, helpful, and stay healthy, and of course, stay in focus. Back to the guys.
Thanks a lot there, Valeria. Always have to stay in focus. Bit of a pullback, maybe not in the market here as we're holding up at 25.40 on the ES. I see the NASDAQ also holding, a bit of that gain. We got a 70-80 handle move in the NASDAQ off the bottom. Intel pulling back in just a little bit, back below that 54 mark. We're still in the money about 60 cents on the last 20% of that position. I did move that stop, as I mentioned, to 53.60 to make sure that we lock in profit on the last little bit there. So that's the long that we're working with there. I want to get back to GameStop, which tried to take the bottom out here at 435 just a couple of minutes ago and is coming right back in. It's actually down on the day now, so we get this nice little rally. GameStop not really participating. It's been such a weak name all day long. I know Greg was looking at that. Some of you were asking, what do we use in terms of getting orders in there? We're at Day Trade the World here, so check that out. We're using Prosper Pro. That is a trading platform exclusively at Day Trade the World. And yes, we are all on Twitter, Trader TV Sean, and Trader TV Neil, and Trader TV Brendan as well.
Yeah, you can find them all right there. And guess what, guys? It is exploding money time. We are in the building again. Wow, what a day to trade again for me anyways. Roku and Neil, I hope it's for you guys as well. Look at Roku. Hit the catapult, guys. How about a $3 winner? I give these to you at least once, maybe twice, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. Here we go, Roku. A $3 winner right to the top side here. Bang, bang. We take 86. We're not afraid. We wait for this bottom to break. It does not. We pick it up right here off this little consolidation, and boom goes the dynamite straight to the upside. Long Roku right now. My position 84.82. So when you're long at 84 and it's at 87, that's a good one. Also Microsoft. You want a $2 winner? There you go. Little floss action off right now. Microsoft. Where are we long, you might ask? 150.69. Look at this. Bang. Straight to the upside. $2 winner on this one as well. So here we go, guys. The day just keeps getting better and better. We rain down the money. Let's catch this money, guys. It's been a big day. Big trades. There goes Roku. Roku now over $3 now. Continuing to go. Let's get 88, buddy. Here we go. Roku. Hells to the yeah. Car crash no more. Roku, a nice little $3 winner. Microsoft, a $2.50 winner. We are back, baby. This is a great spot to sit. Thank you so much, Brendan.
A quick little move there, right upside in Intel through that 54 mark once again. I'm going to move my trailing stop. All we're going to do here is trail it. I don't have a target. We talked about if the rally in the futures came in and we're approaching 7,700 on the NASDAQ, so it looks like it wants to. I'll just slide my stop to the upside. You can just put a trail on for 50 cents if you want. I'm manually sort of picking out some of these little bottoms, moving it from 60 all the way up now to 54 even or so. Now we're well over $1 in the money on this one to the long side. So Intel continuing to work well for us as the futures finally get going. I had a long and a short on at that time. You cut off the short, hang on to the long trade. That's what it's all about there. I know we're a couple of minutes from our guest of the day. That's going to be, you'll follow her at Trader Danielle. Danielle Shea is going to be joining us in about a couple of minutes. Hopefully it should be a fun one. Talk a little bit about options. You see us heavily trading in equities, of course. That's what we do here at Day Trade the World. But there's lots of things out there. We bring you those big guests hopefully as often as we can. As you know, we're practicing the social distancing. You can see Sean over there in Valeria. That means sometimes we don't have as many guests as we'd like, but we got a big one for you guys today. Make sure you tune in.
Guys, and just a little note here. I mean, we're cashing in here, and we like to share the wealth a little bit here. So here's a little spot. We are participating in Wall Street Rides right now. So you can see, look at the sponsors. It's a great little event that we're proud to be a part of here. Here we go. We can see all this one. The CBOE here, Citadel, the NYSE, big things happening. NASDAQ, OTC markets. Shout out to all of our friends. And boom goes the dynamite. The big supporter here, $1,000 in support. At least of this event. We are right down here, Trader TV Live. There's Instanet, there's everything. So a little bit of goodwill there for us, and welcome to everybody there who is part of this great event. We are sponsoring here autism research, as you guys can see, obviously near and dear to many people's hearts there, and let's just get that solved. The autism, more awareness, more research, great little spot there for us. We do get out of our Roku trade there for ho-hum, $2.50. So we continue to hit the home runs. This could have easily, once again, this is a great trade of the day possibility as well. We can review that later on, but we get long there. That's the mistake. It holds this bottom. We take it and then bang, 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 straight to the upside. A nice little $3 winner at the top there. Microsoft still holding on to the tops here. This is a $2.50 winner right now for us. So it just keeps on going, guys.
And bouncing off the bottom here, UAL, even the airlines looking like they want to participate. Look at this level at 32.60. We kind of talked about this in case it wanted to break down. It holds it the entire way. We've got a bounce off it, but it hasn't broken the upside of the range. So still some potential for this trade. If it's going to be a recovery back to break even, you can sort of position yourself maybe long somewhere around here. I would like to look at something in the 32.80 to 33 range with that stop reversal at 32.50. So United, 7.5 million shares. Look at the lack of liquidity in this one. Got to keep in mind, the bottom to top range in this is $4.60. So it's going to be a bit of a bigger range than you're used to. That means you have to have bigger targets, bigger stops. So as we enter this trade, just keep all of that in mind. I want to price in and around 32.80 to 33 like we just mentioned, with a reversal through that 32.60 area. I know we mentioned we're looking for a guest. When we have her ready to go, we're going to jump into that, but going to work this trade in UAL to add to our Intel long.
Yeah, it's been such a bang-up show right now. I know Danielle wants to talk a little bit about Microsoft, but your boy is right here, guys. We can hit the confetti here. We give an alley-oop, of course, a little bit to the market, but bang goes Microsoft. We've been hitting that one. We tried to short early. We got stopped out of that one. Then we said, you know what? That's a nice story. We take the long through 150.50, and boom goes the dynamite straight to the top side. This is our big position. We took it once it broke this VWAP at 150.80 and enjoyed basically a $3 move to the top side there. BAC as well. This stock has been destroyed once again. I love trading BAC. It seems like used to be one of my Achilles heels, but now we go long right here, 21.44. We get out instantly. I love to scalp these things, so we quickly take it out for 20, 30 cents. Now we're waiting for our last 10% here. See if we can't get back up to this little high. I can't believe I actually had the high of the day here on this little wick, despite the morning, but 21.70. Let's see if we can't take that out again. But right now it's a disco because we've got two longs. Microsoft $2 in the money and BAC a ho-hum 20 cents, but it's been good. You can take obviously more shares in BAC than you can in Microsoft, but what a crazy day as the futures now, guys, pulling back in a little bit. I know Danielle talks about futures and equities as well as options, so if you have any questions, hit us up on YouTube. It's been a big day. Thank you for continuing to support us on this crazy Friday.
Absolutely, and a crazy Friday it is if you have me going long in the airlines here. Now, I did talk about a reversal play as well, so it's not like we're going to be afraid of that little short if it comes in at 32.50, but I want to start something here, and I talked about 33 to 32.80. We'll work our price in and around that range. I still have that trail on Intel. It's still holding above 54. We're long at 53.21 there, so about $1 in the money, but it'll be 80 pennies if that one stops out and breaks through that even dollar range as the futures come in, failing to break through 7,700 on the NASDAQ over there on the ES. We're sort of looking at that 25.50 mark. We're back below that. So we get into this trade back into UAL. And I'm going to go revisit maybe re-entering Beyond Meat. This is a name that we like to the downside. This is one that we were in short, and we cut it off for a tight stop. And again, look, I was going to give this Beyond Meat trade to 66. But when we started running up in the futures and we hit that home run in Intel, we reversed it for a very, very tight stop. And this is why you do it. You save yourself some money when you see what's happening in the overall market. The futures turn. No reason not to save yourself that extra 30 to 40 cents. We go ahead and do that. But now that it's coming back in, I am looking to revisit that trade. But we'll do that after we throw to Brennan for our guest of the day.
All right, guys, thank you. Yeah, really happy to have Danielle Shea, Director of Options Trading from Simpler Trading, joining us for the first time on the show on this Friday. It has been an interesting session, to say the least. We'll get a little bit of a perspective from Simpler Trading as far as how they are approaching the market. Increased volatility, increased craziness going on in the market. Always good to get a perspective from the options side of things, not a specific market that we talk about a heck of a lot here on the show. So let's, when we're ready, guys, have Danielle join us, and we can. There she is. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
How are you?
Thanks for doing this today. Oh, great.
More this way, huh?
There we go. Yeah, I had a little audio issue there, but I think we're good now. I saw your dog walking around in the background. I love that. What's your dog's name?
So I have an Aussie Doodle named Cosmo, and then I also have a Chugador named Mars.
Fantastic. Obviously, everyone working from home. We are still here, but doing our best to social distance, as they say. So we appreciate you taking the time today and joining us on what has been an interesting Friday so far. Obviously, the market's kind of going to sleep, I guess, at this point. So a good time to have a little chat about them. Why don't we start from the beginning? Tell us about Simpler Trading, I'm sorry, and how you got started with them.
So Simpler Trading is a trading educational company originally founded by John Carter and Henry Gamble back in about 2010. John was an options trader. He found Henry actually working for Geek Squad, and they started it together. And then after a couple of years, they started doing online webinars. They had an options trading room, and actually I was learning from them online. They didn't know, and I ended up meeting them in Vegas, and they hired me, and now I'm the Director of Options here at Simpler Trading.
As far as options trading goes, was that something that you were always interested from the start, or is it something that you've kind of adapted to as time has gone by?
Oh, it's definitely something that I've adapted to. I'm completely self-made. I used to be a elementary school teacher, actually, and then things went a little bit awry in my life. I became a single mom. I had to leave my fiance. That was not working out, and I had to completely change careers. And so my father suggested that I get into options trading so that I could take care of my son and work from home. And here we are.
I love that. Yeah, support from dad is always a good thing. You're also
Yes.
involved in 5-Star Trader. Tell us about that and your 5-star setup.
So I am, my basic claim to fame, I guess, is starting off with trend following. So I call this the 5-star setup. Basically what I focus on is a confluence of 5 factors. What I noticed when I was learning from different traders is that each trader had their own setup that was high probability. And so I thought, all right, if I combine the 5 different setups from my 5 favorite mentors and put them together into one, that would equal a high probability trend following setup. And so that's primarily what I love to trade in a trend following market.
So we'll talk about, we'll get into your style of trading a little bit in a few minutes here, but why don't we talk a little bit about the site? What are some of the products offered at the site, and who's going to find the most value from them?
So we primarily focus on teaching retail traders, basically anyone who wants to learn how to invest and trade their own money. We have a variety of offerings. We have a live trading chat room. That's great, especially right now and all the volatility. Because we have a team of about 10 or so traders that are in there covering the entire trading day. So our members can jump in there, get live analysis, trades whenever they want. I also have my own mastery service where I send out options picking alerts, and I also have a free newsletter just to kind of keep people informed of the market and what I'm looking at.
And is it mostly from the equity side? Let's jump into your approach a little bit here. We'll talk about the markets from a general perspective. Tell us about your approach to the market. You know, what are some of the symbols, some of the instruments that you look at on a daily basis, and obviously on the options side of things?
So I trade options, but I always do my overall analysis on the underlying products. And so I start off with a top-down approach. I always focus on the indexes, primarily with the futures products. So I start off with looking at the NASDAQ, the Dow, the S&P, the Russell, and I look for relative strength and weakness. I want to first of all identify which way the overall market is going and then focus from there. So for example, when the market is trading higher, like it has been the past few days, then I'm focusing on relative strength buys to the upside. And when it's trading lower, then I'm focusing on weakness to the downside.
So it's been obviously a weak market for a couple of weeks now. We've had just an amazing sell-off right across futures and equities. When it comes to your approach over time, we had the more than 2-year bull market, more than 2 years of nothing but marching higher as far as equities and futures are concerned. We've obviously had to adjust our approaches coming into such increased volatility and crazy markets. Tell us a little bit about how your approach has changed over the last couple of weeks.
So my approach has changed completely over the course of the past couple of weeks. I mean, kind of like I was saying in the beginning, I love being a trend follower. And the 5-star setup is mainly focused on buying the dip and buying pullbacks and this type of thing. But we have to completely change our approach. And this type of market is really more focused on momentum and feel. And so momentum and feel are something that have always been really important to me as a directional momentum trader. I mean, I primarily use it on a larger time frame, trading, 2 or 3 weeks at a time. But at this moment in time, I'm just bringing that down to a much lower time frame. And now I'm using those same skills to primarily trade the indexes, looking for consolidation breakouts. I trade the overnight gap a lot as well, and intraday short squeezes. And so now I'm just looking for momentum on a lower time frame chart and primarily trading index futures. And then also options on ETFs.
It's interesting you say that. A lot of, we've talked about it a lot in the recent weeks, shifting from individual setups on stocks to trading the overall market. When the overall market is in play, some of the, setups that you'd like to look for in individual names can kind of, appear, both in the futures, as you said, and overall, market following ETFs as a whole as well. Let's talk about risk a little bit. Obviously, a lot of retail traders sitting at home alone really don't get the information that, we kind of see on a daily basis and can follow the markets as we do on a daily basis. What do you tell a retail trader in this kind of environment when it comes to managing risk?
So risk is absolutely paramount in this type of trading environment, and we try to make it very clear to our members that once the VIX gets above 17, that's the point where you really need to start managing your risk. And so, for example, in the bull market, when we had a nice trend follow, I would have upwards of 10 to 15 positions on, using 60 to 80% of my portfolio at any given time, really focusing on that directional momentum on a swing basis. But once the VIX really creeps up above 17, that's really when you need to have your position size based on what you would normally do. And then, of course, now at the levels that we're at, traders really need to be having a very small allocation in their portfolio being used on an overnight basis. If at all, cash is honestly best, and mainly focusing on day trading in this environment. And I'm using 2.5% to 5% of my portfolio on any given day trade.
How important to you are typical ranges? So do you look at an average daily range type of an indicator, and if so, how do you incorporate that in expectations? So we talk a lot about what we can expect as far as a move is concerned, on any instrument, and then when we get into an environment like this, we can almost double or even triple those types of things.
Yes, definitely. Well, the ranges for me are really important, and that's kind of how I look to project targets as well. So primarily with the volatility right now, I'm using the range for the first 5 minutes of the day to really project how volatile that day is going to be. And so what we've seen, we've seen ranges 30, 40, 50 S&P points within the first 5 minutes. And so I think that gives traders a heads up as far as what the volatility is going to look like. But the thing about it is that also gives us a lot of opportunity, because a lot of futures scalping that I did before, my target would be 5 to 10 points. And now the target's 30 to 40 points. So for me, it actually works in my benefit.
Yeah, no, it's an important point to make. I think also from a stop perspective as well, stop placement becomes very tricky, when you're used to those kind of, 30 or 50 cent stops on the SPY or the Qs, and that ends up being $2 or $3 worth. This is the same trade essentially from a structure standpoint, but you definitely have to size down because of the increased risk. You sent me a great chart this morning. Let's have a look at the ES chart here and talk us through what you're looking at, including today's action here.
Yes, definitely. So that's my day trading chart. On the left-hand side, you can see the grayed out area. That's going to be the overnight action. And on the black area, that's going to be what happens once the market opens. And so essentially I'm looking at a couple different things. Number one, we had a gap down today. So if you notice the first red candle and the second yellow candle, typically when you have a gap down, you actually get a fade of that gap. It's a futures trade that I like to do first thing in the morning. Previously, again, I would target 5 to 10 points, but as you can see on this day, we actually had about a 20-point move when the ticks were faded first thing in the morning. So that's something that I always like to look at. But then after that, I like to look at the range. And so I have highlighted in yellow the swing high on the day as well as the swing low. And so I sent that to you just right before the swing high broke out, actually. And typically what I do on days like this is I look for a break of either the swing high or the swing low for a momentum move. And so actually after that, we did get a break higher from that swing high. And that move was about a 30-point move. So I really like to bracket and trade that type of move on an intraday basis. You
mentioned the tick indicator there. Talk us through how you kind of incorporate that into looking at the overall futures indexes.
So the ticks are really important because the ticks determine buying versus selling pressure in the market. And so when you're day trading the index futures, it's just very critical. So every time price gets right up to one of my key areas of support or resistance, I'm looking for if there are more buyers versus sellers in the market. So for example, in that trade screenshot, right when the S&P approached that top area of resistance, we started getting high ticks above the plus 600, plus 800 level. And to me, that's a trade entry because I can see that buyers are coming in or shorts are covering right at that level. And that signals to me that I should enter on a buy for a breakout.
Great stuff. Let's shift over to the NASDAQ here. You sent me a great chart of the NQ futures here with a bit of a move into the close. This was going back a couple of weeks on Friday.
Yes.
I was sitting here and remember this very well, and it looks like you caught a nice trade to the long side on the NQ.
Yes. So I love trading short covering rallies into the end of the day. It's one of my favorite things to do. We call it the 230 tick trade. So I use 2:30 because I'm in the central time zone, but it's just a half an hour before the cash session closes. And so essentially what we do is we're looking for, the same thing. Do we have more buyers or more sellers? Who is more nervous at the end of the day going into the close? And so you have to look at the price action and you have to look at where the support and resistance areas are. And you just have to think to yourself, do you think that shorts are more nervous or longs are more nervous? And then what you do is you watch those ticks. When you see a spike up in the ticks, that's suggesting that you have either short sellers that are covering or buyers coming in right at the close. And when you get that break of resistance, then I just jump on the NASDAQ to the long side and ride that until usually about 305, 310, 10 minutes after the cash session closes.
Yeah, it's a great concept. Catching that kind of 30-minute move or so, or even the last hour or so heading towards the close. Danielle, we have a question. We're on YouTube Live, obviously. We have a question from somebody watching on YouTube. Going to go over to Neil for that.
Hi, Danielle. First off, thank you very much for coming in there, giving us a different perspective in the markets. We're very heavily equity focused here. And just something from one of our viewers here, a longtime viewer here, Kevin, asking, we've seen some of these moves to the upside remaining elevated, at least in the afternoon, several days here. And the VIX is actually still high despite a lot of these bounce backs. Now, would you say that, or do you believe, that some of this is due to the fact that we're seeing some realized volatility? Is that the cause there? And I want to add a sort of secondary thing. If we actually, if we were to get back into the positive territory, you just talked about who's going to be more nervous. Do you have any feelings on what that could be going into today's end of week action?
Sure. So, obviously the volatility has been pretty insane. We've had basically a major gap every single night. And the volatility is really reminiscent of what we saw back in 2008. But honestly, this week, the move, I feel, was mostly based off of short covering. So we got to a point last Friday where the market was just incredibly bearish. And I look at that for the put-call ratio. And so when the put-call ratio gets incredibly elevated up above about 1.2, that's showing that we just have way too many traders short in this market. And so then what happens is if you have a gap up or if you have any type of positive news, in this case, it was the stimulus, you have all of those short sellers that are starting to cover at the same time. And so that causes an oversold rip off the lows. So for me, that's primarily what I saw today, or at least this week. And then as far as where we can go from here, well, that typically happens, when the market gets lopsided like that. But primarily what I was looking at was some key resistance levels that we actually hit yesterday, about 2650. So the way that I look at it is every time a resistance level is hit, what's going to happen at that level? Is price going to sell off from there? Or is price going to get through it? In this instance, we could not get through it. And so for that reason, now I start looking for more downside action.
Awesome. Fantastic.
With increased volatility.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I do believe Sean also has a question. We're going to go back to Brendan first.
Yeah, we'll jump into the next chart that we had here with Danielle, which is going to be Microsoft. Our resident expert in Microsoft, Sean, is standing by Danielle. Talk us through this chart first, and then I'm sure Sean will like a comment.
Of course. So Microsoft is my favorite stock to trade. I love buying the dip on Microsoft. I also love buying Microsoft whenever the market gets hammered because Microsoft is typically one of the first stocks to rally off of the lows. So I call Microsoft a Phoenix stock for that reason. And if you look at the two different spots, the first time where it actually sold off, which was right around March 2nd or so, and it pulled back and it hit the 100 period simple, it rallied up pretty significantly. Now, I'm not a dip buyer per se in the context of a trend follow, but it does turn me into a day trader in these instances because when we're in a trend following environment where you can see all the green candles, yes, I'm buying the dip on a swing basis. But when everything switches and changes, at that point, I turn into kind of day trading mode. And when we get those dips like that, and when the market starts to rally off the lows, Microsoft is just one of my favorite ones to jump on for a day trade, because typically you're going to see a lot of buyers coming into Microsoft when the market rips off of the lows.
Great. Danielle, thank you for that analysis. And yes, I'm going to hit the fireworks right now because, oops, that's Weed Batman, not Weed Batman. We hit the fireworks because now we finally find a trader whose favorite symbol is also Microsoft. But yeah, today I'm long on an easy little break here on Microsoft right here on this little break of VWAP. I like playing off even dollar levels. So when we break through 151, we now celebrate a little 20-cent win. What I actually want to stay on my screen a little bit here, Rob. These are the imbalances that happen at the end of the day and the beginning of the day, and these are just NYSE imbalances right here. They're market on close or market on open orders. You did mention there that you like to wait a little bit on getting into positions and look at the opening range to see the volatility. Do you ever consider what is posted on some of these market on close or market on open imbalances? Obviously they exist on New York, NASDAQ, and NYSE American. Is that something that you ever take in consideration when deciding to make a late play late in the day or early on the day for market on open orders?
No, it actually isn't. I've heard of people doing that, and I would love to learn more about it. But I primarily use the market internals as well as chart patterns for all of my analysis. So my favorite market internals are going to be the vol spread, the ticks. I like to use the VIX. And I also like to use the put-call ratio, and then just primarily using the movement in the indexes as well as the movement in individual equities, and also looking for consolidation and breakouts.
So you don't play at all, like we have quarter balance, rebalancing, things like that, S&P, and so on and so forth. You kind of stay away from those little micro activities, I'm assuming.
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to ask that question because I know there's a lot of traders out there that do look at that. We have a big imbalance coming this Tuesday evening, so watch out for that if you are looking at it. And hey, hit me up on Twitter. I can teach, hopefully, you a little bit about those imbalances as well as we share the love here on Trader TV Live. But Danielle, thanks again. We wait to have you back anytime. I'm going to throw you back to Brendan right now. Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you.
Great stuff and great information, obviously. Danielle, why don't you give everyone your social media addresses and where they can reach out if so inclined?
Sure, you can follow me on Twitter at Trader Danielle or Instagram at Trader Danielle Shea 618, like Fibonacci level. And my free newsletter is at 5startrader.com.
Great stuff. Danielle Shea from Simpler Trading and also 5-Star Trader. It was a pleasure. Best of luck rest of the day and rest of the month. Obviously, month coming to an end, but it's been a crazy one and an absolute pleasure. Good to speak to you.
Thanks, you as well.
There we go, guys. Danielle Shea from Simpler Trading. Go check out their website. Lots of interesting information on there. Interesting perspective of the markets, kind of from more swing time frame basis instead of the intraday time frame that we look at. But always good to get different perspectives of the market. Check out Danielle on social media as well. Let's go back over to Neil.
Fantastic guest, absolutely love it. Look at that overhead shot. Practicing our social distancing today. Of course, if you've been following along, it's just a little bit of a change. Brendan over there at the desk the entire time. I'm stuck here, and Sean over there in the corner. Fantastic looking shot there. I can't help myself. I have jumped back into that Beyond Meat short. And I'm going to hit this because we haven't used it today. Despite I traded all day yesterday without using the logo, and then I'm going to trade it today and again not using the logo. So there you go. We jumped back into the short, but I'm going to go with a tight stop here. I just saw it fail to break out through that 66 and through VWAP, and the futures tried to rally there, then didn't really get past that 7,700 mark on the NASDAQ. So I'll try a little stop here, short at 65.10. I'm going to add to this one in the 20s or so, but I don't want it to get past 65.50. I really think you should dig in, or I can at least dig in around that 66 once again. I do have a long position, and I've had it the entire time, is a UAL. United there is holding this 33 mark, and we're basically long at 33. So very similar to earlier in the session when we had one long, one short. We'll try to cut this off at a very tight stop on the short side at least, in case we get that rally in the afternoon. I know it's about 15 minutes. If you have any further questions for our guests or ourselves, follow us all on Twitter. Valeria's doing a fantastic job dropping all of our handles in there.
Yeah, good job, Valeria, on that one. And hey, what's up? Yeah, social distancing, we are. But we are still continuing to trade this market. Obviously, I go short Gilead here. I talked about that one breaking through this little bottom of 73.50. So that's what we have on board right now. It's actually 73.37. So quite a decent slip there of a couple pennies. We're waiting for the bottom, man. I mean, I think that we could still get it here on this name. We could get back to 72-ish. So right now we are short 73.30 right now, 37. It did go in the money about 20 pennies, but we're waiting for more. I'm going to take some off if we can get down to 73 even, and then wait for, you see this little flush sign here. This is to go upside, so I think we can come back here. 72.50, decent little move here on the open, and yeah. So Gilead, that one's on board right now. Microsoft still on board, but it's about to get out. We are $1.50 in the money off this 150.75 break. We're going to wait to see if it does flip back down, but it's been definitely a profitable day here trading, and we hope that you guys enjoyed everything. But we are now ready for the wrap, where we discuss some missed opportunities or trades that we did take and maybe could have done a little bit better. Let's throw it to Brendan at the wrap.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome back. We are about 15 minutes ahead of lunchtime here in the Eastern time zone. That's a look at North American markets. Yeah, it's still pretty red top to bottom there. We'll have to fix that gold quote at the bottom. Not registering for some reason, but crude oil, wanted to mention, they're still down about 5% on the session. That's why we were seeing some weakness throughout the energy stocks and energy sectors throughout markets, depending on where you're looking. Let's jump into some individual names here. You'll have to excuse me, guys. We're obviously running on a skeleton staff this week, so I was not able to pick out some of your trades to have a review of during this period. But why don't we go just individually, guys? We'll start with Neil. We'll go over to Neil and pick out maybe a trade to review from the morning, one that maybe worked, maybe one that didn't, talk about the whys, the levels, and the hows, and all that kind of good stuff. Neil.
I got one for you. It's going to be the first one, just sort of chronologically. One of the first things we did when we sat down was look at the cannabis space. And look, it's something that I know I haven't really participated in a lot of this bounce to the upside, but I saw ACB doing some decent volume. I saw it bust above that dollar even mark, and we had a couple of trades on, and actually going to put another one on right now as I look at level 2. And you look at this bounce off of 60 cents, and we're sort of making this nice little rounded bottom, and we broke through that dollar mark. And once that happened, you can see the nice little run that it had, stalling out exactly at that one even mark yesterday, breaking through, and on a pullback, I wanted to defend that one even level. Now, we end up taking about 10% of the position, I think too early at 110, and then a little bit more at 108. We dig into 60% of it down at the bottom end so that our average price is 103. First mistake. What you want to do right there, I think, if you have about 10% worth of upside and you want to keep your risk down to about 20 to 30%, if you're just a little bit more patient and don't get that FOMO, you can start this one at 108, 105 and have a better structured trade. Ultimately, this bounce works fantastically off of the open, but we only get that 10% move. So we hang on to half of our position the entire time, looking for that secondary move throughout the high of the day to maybe take 15 to 20%. It never comes. We end up loading up back in here at one even. That finally breaks. You lose 3 or 4 cents. So you win on the first half about 10%. You lose on the second half, a small 3 or 4% type loss there. So it's an overall solid trade. But bonus time. We see it back above this $1 mark, and I wanted to see it hold and bounce a little bit before even trying it again. So I'll try it again for not the same amount of size, but this time with a very, very tight $1.50 price. Took the midpoint there. And I'm going to just use this 95-cent bottom, maybe work into a few more shares there. One last stab at this long trade at ACB. One win, one loss. We'll see what still happens with this latest long position.
Yeah, it was great to see some of those cannabis names kind of coming back to life a little bit over the past couple of sessions. We mentioned Tilray and Cron as well throughout the show, both being significantly higher, both in the pre-market and throughout the day as well. So a decent day for cannabis names. Banks have also been interesting over the past couple of sessions. We were talking about JP Morgan a lot yesterday, but BAC in focus for Sean today. Sean, you had that one.
Yeah, no, I do like BAC, and thanks for bringing that up, Brendan. We've traded BAC a lot recently. Kevin knows that on the show. It's been pretty choppy, but here's the daily chart here. As you guys can see, it's been not a great stock here as far as daily charts go, because you get down to 18, bouncing off, and it's in this little bit of a range. But I like to play that, and today I wait. I mean, this has sort of been the playbook for me, Brendan, on these banks. I kind of wait for it to be a big move, and then develop a bottom, and then either go long or short. So if the big move is up on the day, I'll wait to fade it back down. Today we get this break back above 2140, and boom, I'm noticing that we're able to take a decent amount of shares on names like this, because again, it's only a $21 name. There's tons of liquidity right here, and what happens is you get this sort of instant break, as you guys can see here. There's a lot of ticks here. I've done over 40 transactions on this stock, but you can see in here and then out, and then hold a little bit, which we're doing right now. We took some out at 65. It's topped at 70 both times, but this is well within the risk profile. I like the banks. I also like JPM, but as you notice here, guys, JPM a little more whippy, and I'll call up a daily chart here. What I mean by that is these moves here are multiple dollars as opposed to BAC, which you can sort of massage in 20, 30 cents. JP Morgan kind of has the same move down here in the open, but then there's no real level to play off of on a break, right? So that's why I go to BAC. Look for the different setups. Yesterday it was actually Wells Fargo that I preferred. Today BAC, not JP Morgan. If there's a big move coming in the futures, JP Morgan is going to be the right name, but for now, I'm going to continue looking at BAC. A lot of opportunities to take extra shares, a little more shares there on a name that doesn't move as quickly and can sort of whip you out like I tend to do in JP Morgan.
Yeah, it was good to see some of the banks back in play over the past couple of sessions as well. Yesterday to the upside. Looks like they're coming off a bit today with the overall market. Facebook had a bit of news today, just a bit of shuffling on their board. They mentioned in the pre-market this morning, but a stock that's worth looking at regardless, I think on a daily basis. Neil was involved in Facebook today.
Okay, I'm going to make a game time decision here. I'll cover the first half of this, but I want to throw to Sean for the second half of this Facebook trade. It was a very simple breakdown trade. I mean, we look at the pre-market and we talked about this. And again, you should always try to follow in. I know you want to get up early. You got to prepare. 9 a.m. we're going to be on here. We talk about some of the levels we're looking at, some of the in-play stocks. It's very, very important because a lot of times these first moves are the best ones. And look, Facebook comes in and breaks this bottom at 150, at 158, whether you grabbed it on a 157.60 break, which is that level in the pre-market, or whether you saw it fade into 150.59 and fail to get there and catch it on the way back down. Either one of those were fantastic plays. Now, for me, when I catch this retracement play, I always like to do a certain thing and scalp it a certain way. And this is probably not something that Sean does. It's just a strategy I like, and it's a high percentage play for me. If you get that first dip down and it goes all the way to this 156 even dollar level on that 158 break, it's a $2 move. It snaps back, fails through that same high. I jump in here and take it at 157.60 and then scalp it out in front of that low. It's a nice little bounce play. You catch about $1.50 on that move, so I take half out there. Now the plan usually would be you get a 50% retracement and load back in. I missed that retracement at 157 to 157.25. And then when I get out this little half here, because if I don't get my re-entry, I kind of stick with my other routes. I get out in front of that 156. You got to have more shares on. If you catch that reload, then you're catching a little bit of this nice little base. I'll throw this one to Sean because I know he caught the second half of this trade, so it's important to go over the rest of it.
Yes, Facebook was a great trade, and we do like to trade these big cap stocks for sure on the show. And Facebook, just another one here. The problem is I take it really early here, this 157, this early break of 157 downside. We have to average it. And the thing is, it's kind of funny what Danielle was talking about because it's true. The range at the open can be very, very telling, and we get another one right here. I was able to hold all the way down to 156. It's only like about $1.50, $1.80 winner, and then we get out of the rest when it breaks above 156.50. Would have been pretty sweet to be able to hold all the way down here, and we actually did hold it. We were in down here. A lot of this garbage, easy to miss this. We should have obviously gone long down here when it breaks back up. And then look at this again, a nice little bottom. So you have one bottom here, another bottom here. Both excellent opportunities to reload the long. If it does break though below 154.50, the rest of the day should be good. Before we go over to Brennan, I just want to talk about one other name that he wouldn't know I'm in right now because I'm just in now, and that's American Airlines. So we did try a short on this VWAP break of 14.50. We had to chase it all the way down, and we actually get caught a little bit because again, it's SSR, and what that means is short sale restricted. So as the move is coming down, you actually miss your initial punch and have to chase it. So we do that, but now I'm averaged in down here, up here. Actually, my average price now 14.55. I just, down 7%. This market could, really not It doesn't seem like it wants to rally. The airlines continue to be weak. So I'm holding an AAL short rate now, 14.55, Brendan.
All right, guys, we'll shift over to, or back to, I should say, cannabis here. Sean, I'm going to come back to you. CGC, another one that was moving around today, back to the upside, showing a lot of relative strength after a bit of a nothing day yesterday. But nice move for CGC today.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, and you really have to trade these names. Yeah, there we go. Get a little psychedelic on you guys. You do really have to trade these names when they are moving, right? And I think it's very important. Other than any other stock, you really need to have your stop orders in and trading it appropriately. And CGC, look, you brought it to our attention early with Tilray, and again, look at the moves off the open. Today, so many names moved like wildfire off the open. Comes all the way to 16. That is normally, if I would have saw this would have normally been a spot that I probably would have shorted off of this big move up, and then waited to go long through 16 and never break 16. So we're gonna have to look at this tomorrow or Monday, I guess it was. But look, the same thing works for me on pretty much every single stock that I look at, and this is my playbook. Probably why a lot of you guys are looking in on this. We are gonna have some educational segments up. Check our YouTube for that as well, and more to come there. But it comes down and it basically makes a base. Very similar to the last one you brought me, Brendan, on BAC. Makes a base. We actually don't even have stop orders here. We just mark it in here and mark it in here. And then look at this, within minutes, it's a 20, 30 cent winner. It comes back, it bounces around, comes back to the high here. We take it again. So that's 2/3 out. Then our last third is I'm going to fall in the hole here because not that it's a problem. Actually, I'll flush myself down here. It does come, it breaks down below our initial entry here of 15.20. Then we wind up getting out at 15.15. So winner 20, 30 cents. That's the same play again. And then you lose about 5 or 6 on the out. So that's how I trade. That's why we put them into compartments, right? You take a third out, then you wait to see what it does again. At this situation, it pops back up here. We take it out again. We're waiting for it to move to 16. That doesn't happen. So then we throw in the towel. No crying because it's still a very profitable name for us. But there you go. CGC, just looking back on our American Airlines, having a problem breaking through 14.50 here. We're still short 14.56.
All right, guys, a couple minutes to go here. I want to jump back over to Neil real quick. Beyond Meat, a mover over the past couple of days. First day was back to the upside. We had a bit of a consolidation yesterday. If we can jump to my chart here quick, guys, I just wanted to point out an interesting level that has been broken, but we're having trouble moving away from it. In the pre-market yesterday, got down to about 65.75 before a huge rip up back to 2 days ago levels, but we're back down below that 65.5. Neil.
Yeah, this is an interesting short because you talk about that level that I was shorting, all morning long in Beyond Meat, and I was going to give this one to about VWAP in 66. This is when we had that fantastic Intel long, and the market was basing itself out. And all that happened is Intel just started booming up. I had a big spike in the futures, and I had an opportunity to take my short off for an even more shallow loss. Right here, we're short at 65, about 40 is our average price, and we take it out here at at about 60. So you're only risking 20 cents when we're looking for well over $1 on the trade, but you save yourself all this. If we get slipped at 66, suddenly maybe you're getting out for $1 loss, whatever it is, and there's just no reason to do that. Why? Because when things settle down, if the break fails and it turns around as we're doing right now in the futures, I just jump back into the trade, guys. You take the shallow loss here Beyond Meat. You can always play again if you like that short. So you take the small hit, you jump back into the short, which we did do, basically the same price, 65.17, a couple of ticks worse. So small loss there to allow for the big win to run on the longs that we had. And now we're working back into the short and some weakness in the overall market, Brendan.
All right, guys, just wrapping things up here, a minute or so to go here. We're going to get to Valeria in a second here with what day it is today. But first, Sean has something.
I just want to give you guys a quick update here because guess what, guys? It's explosion time again. Gilead here, I just want to bring this to your attention. We're short 73.50. We took some out at 73, and then boom, boom, we just take some out at 88 there again. So a nice little 60-cent winner. We did talk about Gilead and why we like that one. And whoa, here we go. Nice little, wow. It's nice when you notice your net just keeps going up and up and up. And why is that? Because look at this, AAL. Look at these pickups out right here. Bang, bang, short, short, short. Out here, out, out, out. So now we're holding this winner down here. It's only a 17 penny winner, but decent amount of shares on this thing as we've had to average all the way down. And now it bakes new day's low rate here possibly coming. Bang, bye-bye AAL. So there you go, your boy catapults again. Nice little win on AAL. 25 pennies right now, Brendan.
All right, guys, let's wrap things up for the day. We typically end off the session every day with talking a little bit about what day it is today with Valeria.
Thank you, Brandon. And hey guys, first of all, I would like to say thank you for all of your likes, for all of your comments and questions, for being with us, because we are a trader community and we are interested in the same thing, so we should be together and support each other. Also, please hit more likes before we are here and subscribe for our show. We are going for a weekend, but we'll see you on Monday, and we are live every day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, I sent you a link on the chat, so right after that stream, hit the link and we'll continue to trade the noon heading into the close, and of course chat about everything we want. Well guys, today is the National Spanish Paella Day. Do you like paella? I've never tried though.
Really?
Yes.
Once again,
and
we
I
have
don't,
to rectify this.
Yeah, and I don't eat seafood, sorry.
Well, what's the problem, Neil?
You don't eat seafood? Oh, that's actually
What?
unfortunate. That's very unfortunate.
Valeria.
Seafood is like one of my favorite. Oh my goodness, Valeria. Is that?
This is a problem.
You better be
Can you not eat it, or you just don't like it?
Are you allergic?
I am to shrimps.
Oh no, that's
okay,
understandable.
okay.
We're not gonna mess around with that. That's of course important to know. I love seafood. You can give me all the paella in the world. And one of the best episodes of Seinfeld of all time, look it up, is when George's mom makes the paella. So Brendan, is this something that you partake in? Is one of your favorites? Huh?
There's actually certain little towns in the southern part of Spain where they make paella in frying pans that are the size of small cars. So if anybody is interested in paella, I urge you to go to anywhere in the south of Spain. It's all over the place. But yes, absolutely loving paella, Neil.
Fantastic. I don't know if we're going to have it for lunch. I probably doubt it, but it would be good to get that for you. Look, it's been a fantastic show, as Valeria said there. Stick with the chat. We'll jump into the new channel. We will be continuing to trade and still talk about the markets all session long until the end at 4 o'clock. It should be a wild one. It's been a fantastic week. And look, for the entire team here practicing that social distancing, Valeria, of course, our chat maestra. And I'm going to end it the same way as always, guys. We'll go to Brendan Wickens, our good friend at the desk, doing a fantastic job. And as always, for myself, Neil Roberts, and Sean Katina, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is TradeTV.live. We will see you next week. No fist bump, though.
Yeah, no fist bump. Air
Nothing
bump.
you can do. Air bump. Air bump.